Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
And with the 17th pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select Dalton Knecht from the University of Tennessee.
Leave it to the Lakers to steal the show again. Hey, welcome to our show. It's Maggie and Perloff. So glad to have you the day after the first round of the NBA Draft, Perloff. And you saw the War Room, little odd, JJ Redick in there with all the Lakers brass, and Dalton Knecht, the star from Tennessee, the SEC Player of the Year, falls to the Lakers. That's kind of been the headline, along with all the French players who were taken in this first round. And it's kind of universally being called a steal.
Well, it's one of those situations where, and this happens in the NFL a lot, where this guy's high on mock drafts and everyone thinks he's going to go somewhere and then he doesn't go, which is a double-edged sword, because on one thing you're like, oh man, what a great value. The other thing is, oh man, the mock drafts were way off on this guy. But we know exactly what the deal is with Dalton Knecht. He was far and away, I'll say he was the best player in college basketball. I don't think there's a huge argument about that. The question is he's 23, so in the NBA, if you're 19 and you're not in the NBA Pro League yet, then there's something wrong with you. Right. So they didn't want to. Basically, teams didn't want an old guy. But I kind of question that strategy because I look at these drafts. I'm like, I mean, how many young foreign players are guys going to stash? I feel like the 16 guys before Dalton Knecht are going to be. It's going to be one of those drafts where none of them make it. Maybe one or two.
Wow, you're so low on this draft.
It's just clearly I call it. What's a guy from Cleveland? Anthony Bennett. It's an Anthony Bennett draft. I mean, this is obviously. You don't have to be an NBA draft nick to realize that was Bust City last night.
Wow. Okay, Bust City. I didn't look at it that way. I saw that there was just to get away from Knecht for a second. We get back to the Lakers and about them taking a 23-year-old. I saw it as it was a draft that I'm glad no one tried to oversell me on this draft too. You know, we know what this is. It's a draft that didn't have a clear number one. Maybe it doesn't have a clear number two. It might be more of a role player draft, but we don't know about that. There could be a star who emerges from this. I don't know if they're going to be bust necessarily. I just think you're going to get a lot of guys in the middle. Anthony Bennett, we've never heard from again. I don't know if it's going to be that type of class. I think a lot of teams were actually going for fit because the idea of best available didn't really exist in this kind of draft because everyone was kind of for this level not worthy of these picks, right? So it was just more about fit. So maybe this is teams being a little bit smarter. Donovan Clingan to Portland. Mm-hmm. They need size. Okay, they got it. They got him. They got somebody who fits in what they do as opposed to man, we just got the toolsiest player, something like that.
I'd like to fast forward 5 years. I'll bet you 80% of these guys bust.
Really?
I mean, that's first of all, I don't think the hit rate's that high on the NBA draft anyway. It's much more speculative than NFL because NFL has 3 years of these guys. I mean, most drafts are very low percentage. Honestly, I saw a tweet that made me laugh about Reed Shepard, the number 3 pick.
Yep.
He went to Houston. He's kind of like the one sure thing in the top 5. He started 5 games last year.
I know, well.
The
shot never leaves
on a team
your
that did get out of the first round. Yeah. So this is, and then you saw the first couple picks, Richardson and Sarr. It's like, oh man, these are gigantic projects for 1 and 2. Atlanta finally gets the number 1 pick, and this is the guy they get. I feel pretty confident this is going to be one of the worst drafts. And everyone coming in said this is the worst draft, so it's not a hot take exactly.
No, it's not. And listen, if you're Atlanta or you're Washington, you have the number 1 or number 2 picks, you're hoping for these generational talents that completely change and transform your franchise like Wembanyama is doing for the Spurs. That's like the best case scenario, or like the Cavs getting LeBron or something like that. But it's not that kind of draft. So what do? You try to get somebody who, for Risa Shea, a 3-and-D player who could be productive for you and you hope is a rotational player as you start potential rebuild. I know. I'm lowering my expectations.
That's a number 1 overall pick.
I know. I'm just lowering my expectations because no one's telling me to raise them. So it's just sort of what this draft is. No one's telling me, oh, this is the next big Frenchman who's going to be awesome. It's like, no, this is what he's going to be. So I'm trying to take that as it's not that player's fault. It's just the collective year. Well, it just doesn't have the star power.
For example, the Spurs took Stephon Castle, number 4, and then they're doing the breakdown, and they're like, well, he shoots 27% from 3. They basically drafted Bruce Bowen at number 4 overall. This is traditionally a role player. He's a great defensive player. Yeah. So also the other thing
I heard Drew Holiday comps.
Drew Holiday, I don't have the stats. I guarantee he didn't shoot 27% from 3 in college. It just feels like a lot of defensive guys Maybe that's where the NBA is going, where people are paying and drafting for defense more. So that could be the trend. But I would be very cautious. Also, the teams, Atlanta, Washington, Houston, San Antonio, Detroit, there's a reason they're at the top of the draft.
Right. Well, Houston has this big upside, though. We were just talking about it yesterday.
They used to.
Could they, into when? Yeah, last night? Yesterday we were talking about, are they trading for Kevin Durant or Devin Booker, or, the sky's the limit? Could Houston be a contender next season? Houston, that was literally the conversation from yesterday. It couldn't have changed that much just because they took Reed Shepherd.
I'm still. They gave away what is likely 1 or 2 or 3 number pick in next year's draft for not much. And I think people did not understand. 2 nights ago, we talked about they did a pick swap,
right?
A huge trade with the Nets and Phoenix, where they gave the Nets back their picks, and nobody's been able to figure it out. No one's been able to explain it. They probably gave up a shot at Cooper Flagg next year for an aging Kevin Durant. Even that move, well, I just think there's a reason these teams are up high. I don't think they're very good.
Right. 855-212-4227. We'll take your overall impressions of the first round from last night. We'll do some winners and losers for you in just a little bit because there were many. But back to the Lakers. So the Lakers take Dalton Knecht, who is a player we know because we did get to watch him in the tournament. We did get to watch him in Tennessee last year. He was the SEC Player of the Year, as opposed to, I don't know if you're watching Zachary Risachet or any of the G League Ignite guys. Maybe EJ did. You'll have to give us your full scouting report. But as far as Knecht, so they're saying the Lakers got a steal, but he also did fall. And, by those mock drafts. And it's a 23-year-old. Yes, there's not a long history of guys that old, but it's kind of the double-edged sword. Oh, he's got such a great story. He went to junior college, and then he went to Northeastern Junior College, which is in Colorado, then Northern Colorado, then Tennessee. And his story is being heralded, Perloff, as this really great, gritty, kid who never gave up on himself, got a good growth spurt, got himself to 6'6", and now became this, big thing. Doesn't that have to count for something? This is kind of a new world we're living in here in terms of college sports and specifically for basketball. It can just make a lot more sense. Well, maybe not more sense, but it can make some sense to say, hey, I need another year in college, or I need a little bit more seasoning, and I'm getting paid to be there anyway. So do we have to reevaluate how we think of these older guys? Yeah, back in 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 19-year-olds were the thing. But now, because guys are staying because there's a financial aspect to it that keeps them in college to a certain extent, don't we have to rethink the older guys?
Oh, no? That's not Knecht's story, though.
No, well, Knecht's story is no offers out of high school, climbing up the charts and climbing up and succeeding at every level he's been at.
Well, yeah.
I'm just saying in general, for the older guys, we talk about this with the NFL where we had quarterbacks like Bo Nix and, who are 25 years old or whatever. Don't we have to start rethinking just because the options that are available to these players to stay in college?
I hear you. I mean, my understanding is it's mostly mid-level, for mid-first round and second-round talents that are going to stay in college because you make a lot more than a two-way deal in the G League.
Sure.
I guess so. No, I don't think if you're a top 10 pick, I don't think you're staying in because the money's getting, first of all, it's totally insane right now. It's about to jump like crazy. I'm not going to buy that theory. I think that guys are going to want to get into that NBA contract system because it's so bananas right now. I mean, listen, a guy who scores 14 points a game just got $212 million. You think that's a high bar to get to?
You're talking about OG Anunoby.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if he can get
a huge deal with the Knicks yesterday.
If he can get $212 million and score 14 points a game, I still think that guys who are good enough are going to jump in the NBA. Now, Connected a little different because he had this great growth spurt, which is very unusual. I wanted, my Sixers were at 16 and the Lakers were at 17. I was dying to get him. I think this is a great fit. You kind of hinted at it. Like one team that could use an older guy who doesn't. Lakers don't have a lot of time to season a young French player. They need an older guy. So
also, LeBron doesn't love playing with rookies, and this is a different kind. A 23-year-old rookie maybe is an easier sell because obviously the Lakers' every move is predicated on making LeBron happy.
Right, and also when they drafted him, the broadcaster goes, "Oh, and he's scored 36 points or more 6 times." And Stephen A is like, "Whoa, I didn't know that." Because I guess Stephen A has never seen a college game before last night.
Wow, I was not
Stephen
watching
A's
that
face
version.
when he found out that Dalton Knecht went off last year. He's like, "Whoa, what a pick by the Lakers." I'm like, Stephen A, this is Dalton Knecht. It's nice of you two to meet. Glad that you're on draft coverage to yell at Bob Myers. But
yeah, that could be the new sitcom. Stephen A and former Warriors GM Bob
total
Myers.
side note, they were going to Sean Salisbury, John Clayton that thing up. Oh my God. They started, you could tell a producer behind the ears, "Hey guys, pretend to fight." Anyway, the broadcast is one thing, but Dalton Knecht, just because he fell to 17, I have a theory that NBA teams don't know what they're doing.
Oh, that's the theory?
I think the teams that are 15 to 30 know what they're doing. I think the teams 15 to 1 are a bit all over the place. I just got that sense. Like, it doesn't seem like there's strong strategies in places like Washington and Atlanta. And I'm basing that on 55 years of NBA history.
Well, okay, but the Spurs are always up there picking, and I don't think anyone criticizes the Spurs. Maybe they should, but they don't. And the Spurs not only did the Spurs, take Stephon Castle from UConn as maybe a Drew Holiday who doesn't have as great a shot. We're not sure, as a defensive guy, and Stephon Castle is a very highly thought of prospect. But then they also took Rob Dillingham from Kentucky and then traded him to Minnesota. And maybe at first that didn't make a lot of sense. You're San Antonio. Don't you want shooting? Don't you want to put these guys around Wembanyama? Why would you trade him away? They're trading him away for an unprotected first-round pick in the year 2030. And what the Spurs are doing is they now have unprotected pick swaps with Boston, Dallas, and Minnesota, 3 of the best teams in the league right now, for 5 to 6 years from now, Perloff. So San Antonio is playing the super long game here, where they feel like those teams are more likely to fall off in the next couple of years, and they'll be ready to pounce. It's interesting. I don't think San Antonio has as bad strategy.
Well, I mean, first of all, I'm looking at San Antonio's draft history. It's pretty mixed lately. I'm not sure they still have their fastball. I mean, we saw Jeremy Sohan's an adventure. Wasn't he a defensive guy at some point? And then they drafted someone named Joshua Primo 2 years ago at number 12.
That went really bad.
That went really, really bad. He has some major psychological issues.
But the thing is, Anthony Edwards is going to be 29 when that pick comes to fruition. I mean, there's no way. If he's still in Minnesota, which I assume he will be, there's no way that's a top pick.
I don't know. That's what the Spurs are kind of betting on, right?
Well, I know.
You know he's still going to be there?
Well,
We've talked about...
Yeah, I think Anthony Edwards in Minnesota at 29 is not... Giannis is still in Milwaukee at 31. I think the odds are he's there. And I know that... I know if he is there, it'll be a low pick.
Right.
It'll be like a 22 to 30. Right. You're saying Anthony Edwards is going to leave Minnesota? That's
I'm not
interesting.
saying that. I'm saying the Spurs may be betting on that down the road. I mean, they're betting on that something is going to go wrong, or that there's going to be some kind of rebuild or something with. This is not an accident, I don't think, to have pick swaps in the next 5 to 6 years with 3 of the teams who are in the final 4, basically, of the NBA playoffs this year.
Right.
I think that's calculated.
Yeah. I just think the Spurs seem pretty irrelevant right now. I'm curious if they're going to be good enough to keep Wemby.
Man, are you going to keep that energy when you're driving to San Antonio to apologize to Wemby?
Don't say that to Wemby when you drive down there.
I apologize. You're not Wembanyama, but your team's irrelevant.
So who's the coach going to be, too? I'm curious, like, what's the plan there?
I mean, how many Greg Popovich disciples coach in the league? I mean, there's got to be somebody. His coaching tree is like Bill Walsh.
It's kind of like Coach K finally choosing Shire. I don't know, is San Antonio really what they are today when Popovich retires? But it's got to be within the next 2 or 3 years, right?
I don't know. Who knows? 855-212-4227. So the Lakers are sort of the headliners. Not sort of. They are the headliners after they get Dalton Knecht. We're curious what you think. We're here. Yeah. You guys are all around the country, and you have your fandom on every single team. So we love to hear what you think. We'll tell you what we think. But in your city, where this pick was made, where a pick was made last night, what's the reaction? Yeah. Did you see the watch party in Atlanta?
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was packed.
Unfortunately, they didn't have a... Yeah, I watched the history of Atlanta. They've had the number 1 pick once before. They took David Thompson. I'm like, that's awesome. And then he went to the ABA and didn't even play there. So this is your next number 1 pick.
That's awesome, too.
Yeah, he was awesome, but he never played in Atlanta. I hope that Ricochet kid is good. Do you know who I like, by the way? And I know who's really excited? our friends in Portland.
I know. Well, this is great for them.
Yeah, I feel like that's a fan base that should be really happy. They got Kling Klong. He's going to be great. He was wonderful he was a great interview. There were a lot of really good interviews. I did like Monica McNutt. It's just she's really good at that, doing the right after you get drafted. But Klingon really, I was feeling him last night. I think that's going to be a good pick. And I was not into him because EJ thought he would go number 1 possibly.
Yeah.
It seems like he's a guy who fell just a little bit and could be a gigantic value.
Yeah.
No pun.
Right. It looked like at one point Memphis was trying to get up from 9 to 6 to try to take Donovan Klingon. Couldn't make it happen. Mm-hmm. So Portland ends up being the beneficiary there. They get Klingon, the 7-footer, 7'2" shot blocker. And then Memphis ends up getting Zach Edey, of course, we remember, the 2-time National Player of the Year from Purdue. The one thing about Klingon, I think he's great. I think this is going to be, who knows what Portland's going to be. They're still in the very beginning stages of this. My one thing is he's basically a 50% free throw shooter.
Yep.
And I was thinking about that because UConn basically played no close games. That was the whole thing about their run. It was blowout after blowout after blowout. And even the Purdue game in the championship, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm thinking back to it now.
Second half, they pulled away. That was not a close game.
It was not a close game. So I'd be a little worried about him in crunch time out on the floor. That becomes a liability when your big man can't hit free throws.
The good news for going to the Trailblazers is they will be in blowouts, but it will be on the other side. It will not be on the winning side.
Well, for now.
For now, I know.
So he's got to get some of those, that kind of liability can definitely hurt you as a big man if you can't hit free throws. So that was my one thing about Klingon, but overall I do think it's going to be a good fit. Yeah, we love Portland.
I think he is going to make people in Portland forget. Oh, sorry. I think he's going to make people forget about Yusef Nurkic in any day now. Because first of all, as a center, your expectations aren't huge in today's NBA as a 7-footer, right? You just have to play this certain role, and he's going to probably do it well. Like Derek Lively role, where you just run up and down and have a
catch
few
lobs,
alley-oops.
Yeah,
it's not like the olden days where you would throw it into the post and you'd have to develop a hook shot. I think he's going to be great in that particular role. That's a really good point about the free throws, but I still think they're really excited.
Honestly, the best thing that happened to him was fall on the 7, because if you're talking about him being number 1, it's similar to the conversation we had about Richardson, where it's like, okay, how is this guy going to be a franchise changer when we know he's maybe a little limited offensively? Well, now he's not asked to do that. He's number 7. Drafting 7. Yes, sometimes you get a franchise player, but we're also fine with getting a guy who could be a solid starter, which seems like Klingon almost seems a lock to be. Like, his defense is incredible. He's great around the rim. So, him falling on the 7 is actually great for Portland because he doesn't come in with the pressure of saying, hey, I have to come in and change a franchise. They drafted Scoot Henderson for that last year.
855-212-4227. You're welcome to weigh in, especially on the Lakers. The other thing about Dalton Knecht, there's a lot of, dots there saying, oh, JJ Redick, he was a great shooter. That's how he survived in the NBA for 15 years or thrived in the NBA for 15 years. He was the National Player of the Year in college. This is the perfect kind of guy to be the mentor for Dalton Knecht.
Dalton Knecht's worst athletic day is 100 times more athletic than JJ Redick, which is the irony of that.
JJ Redick wasn't 6'6" either.
Yeah, Dalton Knecht
Where is he about?
Fly.
Knecht's a little taller.
Yeah.
Perloff's right. Athleticism way better than JJ Redick, but I do think that in some ways he's kind of like what JJ Redick would be in 2024, right? Like a guy like JJ Redick probably doesn't make it in the NBA because he has no athleticism, can't play defense. But today, it'll be a guy who can run a little bit, can jump,
right.
But Dalton Knecht's going to make his money from behind the arc. That's what's going to make him a difference maker, and he's going to come off screens. He's going to do pin downs. He's going to do all that stuff, and JJ can teach him that, and he can find a way to find a role for him for that aspect of his game, which will help him.
JJ's already talking about pin downs. I mean, there were people vomiting at JJ Redick's comments on Dalton Knecht last night. It was plucked right out of the Red Wine podcast. Oh, I'm going to do this fancy thing and this fancy thing. Dude, just coach. We don't have to hear how smart you are, JJ, for once.
We're trying
good.
to coach.
The Red Wine podcast is what they definitely should have called it. 855-212-4227. Okay, you're welcome to weigh in. We're reacting off the first round of the draft, of course. There's a couple really big names out there waiting in round 2, which is not something that we normally say. One of them, you may have heard of him, Bronny James. Get to that next. It's Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Big Day on Maggie and Perloff. We are finally paying off our NBA playoff bet. Maggie Gray has to eat a lime Jello tuna fish concoction on air. It's happening, 8 a.m. It's going to be
Easter.
Way more disgusting than you think. It is bad. We made it last night. You can go to our Twitter feed or our Instagram feed and see it at Maggie and Pearl. It is nasty. Oh, my God. Maggie, it looked way worse than we even thought.
Just being in the room while you guys were making that yesterday almost made me Ralph. So 2 things that I didn't anticipate. I don't know why, but in my head, the mayonnaise never made it in the equation. I didn't think you were actually going to take the tuna fish and make like tuna fish salad. I just thought the chunks of tuna were going to be in the lime jello. The mayonnaise never even was a thought that crossed my mind.
Well, one thing, Amanda, who was with us yesterday, was working with us, said that she was worried that the things inside the jello would fall out. So I thought if I put the mayonnaise, it would bind the tuna a little more.
Oh,
and also, nobody eats raw tuna, so.
Well, I don't know. I mean, lutefisk, I don't really know exactly what this Minnesota dish is even like kind of based off of, but the mayonnaise part of it, I didn't calculate that in.
Yeah, I think otherwise the tuna might have not really. Actually, we opened the tuna, it was already pretty disgusting.
Yeah, it was definitely gross.
You got to go. I don't know if anyone here is a chunk light tuna fan. You got to go solid white albacore, obviously. I think I could have gotten more normal tuna fish, and that would have helped you, but this is bad.
This is awful. The color of the jello is like minty looking, like 1950s. Yeah. It's not going to taste like that, obviously, because it's lime. And then the green olives you got with the pimentos on the inside. And, of course, those fell out. So now there's just red pepper kind of floating around in there too.
You know, it's funny, and I think EJ might have said the same thing. I'm like, lime jello, tuna fish, I'll try that. I'm out.
I apologize for saying that Maggie would like this. That was maybe the worst take I've had on the show.
I couldn't be more out than I'm not touching that. I didn't lose the bet. I thought I was going to be a good teammate. And
you're like, I'll eat it.
Yeah, I thought it.
What?
Because what I saw on the internet was actually was gross. But it looked at least palatable. This doesn't look edible in any possible way. No. It looks like some sort of chemical plant mishap.
It does. It looks like a science experiment gone way wrong. It looks like it's going to start morphing into like a blob that comes and eats everybody in the studio. Every part of this is just wrong. And so I'm going to have to eat it. We're going to have to get it out of the Jello mold, which is going to be kind of weird. I don't know who's in charge of this.
I'm also afraid of going back there, taking it out, because that thing's now been in the refrigerator here at the studio for, almost 20 hours?
Yeah.
So I know that refrigerator probably smells crazy right now.
People are not going to be happy about that.
Yeah, I don't want to be the person who looks like they're pulling it out and be responsible. Say, you're the guy that did this.
I put our names on the top of it. I said, please don't touch Maggie and Perloff.
I saw you put the names on. I was like, that was a mistake.
Listen, we got to do what we got to do. I didn't want someone to think it was like fake. It's like, no, it's Maggie Perloff. We need this. Also, I didn't know you were going to wear the T-shirt today, too. So now we're both wearing Maggie and Perloff shirts.
I love that. I'm a team uniform guy.
We're double branded here.
Yeah.
So you can watch
what's wrong with that? We look like twins. This is awesome.
YouTube.com/Infinity Sportsnet, Twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network. We'll be live on Instagram as well, at Maggie and Pearl. Maggie Gray is where we're gonna broadcast this thing. So plenty of ways that if you want to watch this, you can do it. If you just want to listen, if you're just somebody who listens on all of our incredible affiliates or the Odyssey app or SiriusXM channel 158, you're gonna get the full experience. Don't worry, we won't shortchange you.
The mayonnaise thing that really, I think, beyond the color, it was the grease pockets that created in this mixture. That was the thing for me that said, "Oh, this is bad."
You got to spray it with cooking spray. You got to spray the mold.
Right, yeah, which, I mean, I'm sure we did, but just looking at the mixture, there was like these little like almost like stained yellow like pockets that were forming in the Jello mold, and I was like, oh, that's the grease from that damn mayonnaise. And
I think it might have been from the olive oil spray.
No, because this was before we even did put it in the mold.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this was when Perloff had it just in the bowl. Ugh. And you see this, like, again, these little white yellow pockets that were forming, and I was like, oh man, man, I'm sorry for you. I don't know what to say.
I'm in a bad way here. Peter Schwartz has joined us this morning. I'm not sure if you understood exactly what you were walking into.
No, I like tuna fish, but I'm starting to maybe think that I might not want to like tuna fish.
After this, it's going to be ruined for you forever.
I don't. We'll see. We'll see. I'll take a look.
Hang tight on that for a second. Let's check in with our buddy Sean. He's in Oregon, wants to give his thoughts on the NBA draft. Hey, Sean, what's up?
Hey, I'm sorry to hear about your breakfast today or your lunch or whatever you're having. That don't sound too good. But, yeah, we're doing pretty good here in Oregon. We're happy to get Klinger. And I was thinking last night about who the number one selling jersey is going to be. Do you have any idea who's going to be the number one selling jersey in these out of the rookies?
I do. Hold on, I got to get his name again. He's from France. He's 14 years old.
He's the drafted stash guy.
Got a lot of vowels in his name. It's the Hornets guy who I'd never heard his name before.
I don't think the Hornets will ever have the best-selling jersey.
Wait, who do you think,
unless
Sean?
Larry Johnson comes back.
I think it's going to be the star of the draft. And, the star of this draft and what everybody's been talking about is the son of the king, Bronny James.
But if you're going to buy a James jersey, you'd be doing it ironically to buy Bronny's jersey.
This is ironic world. This is ironic world we live in.
Yeah.
Well, if they're on the same team, how are you going to do their jerseys?
Well, they're not going to be the same number.
Right, but
People build the same last name all the time.
Okay, yeah. Is that how the Thunder, the two Thunder guys do it?
You know what I bet LeBron does? Does he change his jersey to senior?
Oh, that would be
like the NFL.
The way that'd be so disrespectful to his fans. The fact that he's going to make them now buy another one of his jerseys.
Well, you don't have to buy it.
If you're a LeBron James, I know these LeBron James fans, they're passionate about the king. They have to buy a new jersey if he goes join James Sr.
Okay, but think about it. Sean, thank you so much for the call. I think that he'll do this. It's been so much about Bronny, and if Bronny does get taken today with the 55th pick by the Lakers, I bet Bronny goes by James and whatever number he's going to wear, and I bet it's James Sr.
But that's such a lame move to me because Bronny James is not LeBron James Jr. because he wants to make his own name out. Like he doesn't he wants that. That's why he goes by Bronny,
right? Which
is commendable. So then LeBron's gonna say, no, I want everybody to remind people that the kid that's on this team is my son.
Don't worry, EJ, we know.
No, but now he's gonna go so far and say, no, I'm gonna put senior. So when you think, senior, right, Bronny James is he actually LeBron James Jr. Like you're actually bringing fans back to the fact that he's LeBron James Jr. When Bronny James himself said he wants to go by Bronny.
Well, I have some news for Bronny. He's never gonna get out of that shadow, and that's a blessing and a curse for him because in some ways his life is awesome and better than anyone could ever imagine, and in others it's probably really challenging. So that's no jersey is gonna throw people off the scent that he isn't a pure nepotism pick. All right. Peter, let's get to you quickly. We'll go back to the phones in a moment.
This report sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect your home and auto. Save when you bundle. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Let's begin with the NBA draft. The Hawks with the first pick.
With the first pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Zachary Rizache from Lyon, France, and France's J.L. Boron-Bress.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver making the announcement on ESPN. For Rizache, it's a special moment.
The work that I've been through and all my family is here. I'm so happy to have them here, my friends, and this is amazing. I don't know what to say. It's so special.
Rizache on ESPN after he was picked. Rounding out the top five, the Raptors took forward Alex Sarr from France. The Rockets at number 3, Reed Shepherd, a guard from Kentucky. At number 4, the Spurs take Stephon Castle, a guard from UConn. And at number 5, the Pistons take G League Ignite forward Ron Holland II. The T-Wolves acquired number 8 pick, Kentucky guard Rob Dillingham from the Spurs. He's excited to be going to Minnesota.
Playing with Anthony Edwards and the whole Timberwolves, they was in the Western Conference Finals. So it's really just a blessing because I get to learn from a lot of players and veterans and players that's real good. So them helping me is just a plus for me.
The Spurs get a 2031 unprotected first-round pick and a 2030 top 1 protected pick swap. The Knicks will reportedly re-sign free agent forward OG Anunoby to a 5-year, $212.5 million deal. Now to the Olympics and the Summer Games coming up in Paris this summer. Of course, the NBC making an interesting announcement yesterday. Al Michaels will be part of the coverage of the Olympics, sort of. NBC is going to use an AI-generated version of Michael's voice to narrate customized recaps for users on Peacock. He was skeptical about this, but apparently after seeing a demonstration, he then said he was all in.
Well, I'm assuming they're also paying him quite a bit.
I would think so.
I mean, they're paying him because he's got to do no work, right?
It's disgusting. I hate this so much. I hate it Al Michaels deserves to get shredded for this. NBC deserves to get shredded. This is pathetic.
Wow.
It's a bad standard.
It's a horrible standard. We have enough problems with AI and people doubting reality. NBC, who's supposed to be like a real news organization, like it taints their whole coverage.
Wait, but they're telling everyone it's AI. They're not passing it off like, oh, this is Al Michaels.
Well, why can't they just get Al Michaels in the studio and have him do some work?
Because you're cheapening reality already. Even if you tell people, you're like, there's enough, like young people don't believe anything is real already. And now you're doing this. It's like now people are not going to be sure what's a real voice and what's an AI voice. Horrible, horrible president.
I know, but we already are kind of there, aren't we? I mean, I understand what you're saying, and this is a slippery slope, like a bigger global thing to talk about, but this is a sports highlight. This is not the things that AI, like, this is not the real danger here.
Yeah, but then it's gonna go from sports highlight to play-by-play to other things.
Definitely.
And it should be only really used for production AI in our business.
You should not use a real voice like a talent to do it. This is a very, very bad precedent.
And I think even though maybe Al Michaels may get paid, the person who would maybe be miking him, the person that maybe would be editing his voice, all those things, those people will not, those people that won't exist in this universe where Al Michaels' AI is being used. So jobs are being cut somewhere.
Oh, I get it. But you guys think that this is, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but this is like the future. And I'm not saying I'm like it. I'm not in favor of it, but this is happening. People are already losing their jobs for AI. Well, and so how do people adapt? I don't have the answer for you, but is it really like Al Michaels is the guy who's supposed to say no to this?
Yes.
On principle?
Yeah, say no.
He doesn't even need the money. If anybody's going to say no to this, Al Michaels, but it feels like Al Michaels has no backbone here at all.
Like,
I'm out on Al Michaels after this.
You would think Al Michaels has to have a studio in his home. Like, why can't he just like go to a microphone and record it?
Well,
like, how long are these things going to take him to do?
Well, I don't think he wants to do it probably because of the time difference from Paris to LA and where he lives. And he probably just doesn't. I mean, Al Michaels is calling one game a week right now in the NFL, and it kind of feels like a heavy lift. You know?
But that's true. But then at the same time, if
Al Michaels do it, right?
If Al Michaels he can't do the Olympics because he's older, because of the time difference, whatever, right? Then there's some other broadcaster who can do these game highlights, and that's someone else that gets an opportunity.
I get it, but we're living in capitalism, right? And so, like for people who think get yours, why would Al Michaels turn down a check when he has to literally do nothing?
Because the industry, he owes a lot to the industry. I know we owe a lot to him and what he's done. He's a legend, no question. But the industry's also made him a very rich man, a very famous man. And there is something about giving back. And, the saying goes, you send the elevator up, you send it back down. Like, I think this is really just a money grab, and it's horrible. All seriousness, like what could he make from doing this?
What do you make for voicing a video game?
What is like a top
100,000?
I don't know.
He might make his rate. He might make his rate for usually doing that on his own, but minus the travel, minus all the other costs that go into it.
Well, my problem is not really out. NBC is famous. Like, this used to be the network of Tom Brokaw. Like, you're covering an election in the fall, and you're like, we don't give a crap about any journalistic standard at all. It's not even in, because there are going to be deep fakes that affect every story moving forward. And now NBC, they're part of the problem.
Wait,
how are they going to cover stuff?
No, but hold on one second, though. If he's voicing a highlight of a gymnastics round 1 floor exercise, and the AI version of Al Michaels, they're telling you it's AI, so no one thinks it's actually him.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, say he's doing a recap. It's a highlight package of Simone Biles, right? Doing her floor routine. They've come out and told you it's not really Al Michaels, so they're being open with the audience about it.
A lot of the audience is not going to know it's AI.
Okay, but they're doing, as far as a journalistic news gathering organization, they're covering their butts because they're telling you it's not really him. And if everything this AI-generated Al Michaels says is factually correct, what did NBC do wrong? Besides the moral part of it, you've got that part of it, but I'm just asking, why does NBC take a hit here?
Because they took a job away from somebody else to have a computer.
I know, but Peter, how many tech companies lay people off?
I'm not saying that's right either. I'm just saying it sucks.
Oh, it definitely sucks. It definitely sucks. But I'm asking, there's so many people, I think, who are in this country who will tell you, listen, You go. It's capitalism. You go out and make your money. NBC has a right to, make cuts and changes. I don't love it. I'm just saying, or is what they're doing actually wrong? You might not like it, but is it wrong?
See, this is why I won't use the self-service lane at the supermarket because I don't want people's jobs getting taken away.
And I think it's wrong because who knows what's going to happen in these highlights? We don't know if there's going to be a massive issue. And I guess in theory, maybe you don't go to the AI thing. Maybe you have Mike Tirico, whoever do it. But who knows? It's sports. It's live action. So anything can happen. So
no, but this is a packaged highlight.
All right, but what if there's a brawl that happens in the game, in an NBA game, or excuse me, an Olympic game, or female or women's game, or one of these things? Like
a brawl is going to break out at this.
Well, it could.
Badminton tournament.
Weird things happen. We saw Nick Batum punch some guy in the groin a couple years ago in the Olympics. But
he's not doing it live yet.
There could be stories that have nuance,
right?
That now we're going to rely on AI to tell. Which we have no idea how they're going to be able to do.
It's going to be hysterical.
And that's what the journalism thing. That's what NBC I think is wrong.
There was a story the other day where it went on a major news service about Natalie Portman about how she failed out of college because she was doing too much cocaine.
Oh my God.
AI had pulled it out of a Saturday Night Live skit where she was pretending to be a gangster in a rap song. It's going to be really funny.
There's glitches, but I'm just saying that none of this is live. So whatever NBC puts out has been presumably vetted by a producer or by somebody. It's already been shot. It's been edited. It's been voiced over by AI robot Al Michaels, and then it's being put out. We're not at the point yet where AI Al Michaels is calling Jags Titans on a Thursday night.
Well, yeah, but this is you're opening the door to that. I saw great. Sheryl Crow was ripping Drake for using AI. He used a Tupac AI, and she's like, that is against the soul of everything that music. Like, you can't just this idea that we can just fake reality and fake Al Michaels' voice. It's a real problem. Like, people. We're not going to know what's real and what's AI, so you're basically going to have Joe Biden saying something, and people are not going to know, did he actually say that, or was that AI? It's already happening.
No, and the stakes are way higher there than Al Michaels doing a badminton highlight.
I just feel like, in my opinion, this is on the continuum. I think, I of course, you're absolutely right, but I feel like this is you're manipulating a voice to make it sound real. They're not doing it because they know it's AI. They want Al Michaels' voice. It's kind of disgusting.
But if you're Al Michaels, wouldn't you want to approve what the AI version of yourself says? Excuse me, like a producer is going to write a script and they're going to have the AI person, right? So if
somebody has to tell the AI what to say.
Right, but if you're Al Michaels and that's your quote-unquote voice that's going out on that recap, you might not like the way that it comes out. Maybe you would have voiced it a different way. Maybe you would have written it a different way. So if I'm Al Michaels, I would want to approve what is supposedly coming out of his mouth.
Well, I think they probably believe it's going to be pretty innocuous. I don't know if is somebody going to do you believe in miracles? Are they going to rip off one of his famous catchphrases to put in a random highlight on a swim match?
It's ChatGPT will do this, right? I mean, they'll just feed the basics. I don't think that they're going to have a real writer. And also, it hasn't happened yet. I wouldn't be surprised if people call Al and be like, what are you doing? Because there are a lot of industry people why are you taking away jobs?
Well, that for sure. I mean, if you want to get mad at Al Michaels and say hey, man, you're not paying it forward. You're not, think of what this could mean for the industry. You're doing this for a paycheck, granted, that you don't need. Far be it for us to count someone else's money. But that I feel like is fair if you feel like as an emeritus he's doing the wrong thing. I don't think I can blame NBC though.
And I just want to clarify something. When I say live action, I don't mean that this is going to be calling live action. I'm saying that the Olympics is unpredictable.
Right.
We see protests happen. We see various different demonstrations happen during the Olympics.
Right. So maybe Al Michaels at AI doesn't do that one. Maybe Tirico does it with a little bit more human touch.
Right, but also again, that could have been someone with another human maybe does that, and that's a different job, and then you would have somebody that can do that. That's the issue I have.
I don't get how you guys could all give NBC a pass. What if during the election they had a fake newscast? They use Tom Brokaw's voice to say something. I don't know how people can accept this. This is terrible to me. But
interesting. 855-212-4227. All right, that's gonna have to be the last word on it. We see you guys want to weigh in on what's happening later today, which is me eating this awful tuna fish jelly green olive
lutefisk
concoction. And I'm going to do it here, live, right on these airwaves. We have a lot more draft stuff to get to as well. Don't move. It was a big night last night. Maggie and Perloff, we've got all the details for you next.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Hey, it's Andrew Perloff. I'm genuinely impressed with NBC's Al Michaels AI, a revolutionary addition to Olympics broadcasting. This AI doesn't just mimic Michaels' iconic voice, it encapsulates his deep understanding of the games and storytelling prowess. By analyzing decades of Michaels' commentary, this AI reacts with timely, authentic insights, maintaining the high standards he set. It's a seamless blend of nostalgia and innovation, providing a familiar yet modern voice that enhances the viewing experience. This integration of technology and broadcasting expertise is a standout example of how AI can extend a legendary legacy in sports media. Hey, it's Andrew Perloff. I'm genuinely impressed with NBC's Al Michaels AI,
3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This portion of the show is sponsored by the all-new Hyundai 2024 Santa Fe, equipped for adventure with capable features like available H-Track all-wheel drive and standard third-row seating. Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. So I'm understanding there might be some controversy about the lime Jello tuna fish concoction that you have to eat at 8 a.m. Eastern. That is just an hour and 15 minutes from now.
I'm not ready.
Yeah, by the way, that's coming up fast.
Told you the morning aspect of this on the East Coast.
Yeah, I underestimated that. You were dead right.
Yeah, I'm like, this is the first thing I'm going to eat today. Like, I've only just had coffee, and now I'm going to put down this lime Jello tuna fish with the mayonnaise in it.
There was a lot of mayonnaise. The mayonnaise got a little out of control. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah,
when I saw
are you French? Like, why so much mayo?
I love mayonnaise. A lot of people don't like it, but the mayonnaise Jello combination is far, far worse than I could have even imagined.
Let's hit Bill. He's in Houston. Bill, do you have anything good to tell me? Like anything that might make this a little easier on me today?
No.
Oh, great. Great. Awesome. What else you got?
I don't know what I did. I led a really good life, but I have been around disgusting Christmas traditions my whole life. So my mom, bless her heart, she made a lime Jello and mayonnaise concoction that was forced upon us as children, and it changed the entire course of my life. Then I marry a Norwegian, wonderful wife, but her father insisted on having lutefisk Christmas with recon.
Oh no, Bill, we're losing you. Yeah.
It's a tradition that was carried over by legend from the Vikings, where they placed cod in a lye solution to maintain it. So we would have lutefisk, and it literally is fish Jello, and the only way I could tolerate it was lots of salt and butter. But as with any other bad food, you need a lot of Louisiana hot sauce and a 29-degree IPA, and that'll help.
Yeah.
I know, Bill. Gosh, if I wasn't on the job.
Bill, did you ever have lefse?
Oh, he's gone.
We ate Norwegian. My mom's Norwegian. So lefse, Julekaka, lutefisk, it was all around. But lutefisk, I understood it was always white. I was kind of like, it reminded me a little bit of pickled herring.
Oh, God.
You don't like pickled herring?
No. Yuck. No. This is why, to be honest, I want to go to a lot of these countries. I'd love to go to Norway or Sweden or something. I don't think I can handle the food. I don't love smoked fishes. I'm not into that kind of thing. Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
So lox, everybody loves lox. Like,
I can eat that like once a year. It's like a big thing in New York. I can eat it once a year.
I think it's a big, smoked salmon is a big thing everywhere. It's a very popular food.
Sure. On the West Coast too, I know you can get a lot of those smoked salmons. We used to buy them for my in-laws. You can get them shipped like during Christmas time, the sockeye salmon or whatever. No.
Wow. Does anybody else here not like smoked salmon or Nova?
Not me. I love it.
Yeah. I mean,
delicious.
Pete?
No, I don't.
See?
Really? Like a bagel with cream cheese and Nova?
Nope.
Yeah,
Wow.
I gotta really be in the mood for that. I'd like, again, once a year, maybe twice.
And just to clarify, it's the texture.
Yeah, I don't like fishy things.
Oh my God.
I eat sushi, but I don't like the fishy smells, and like I don't like fishy like tuna fish out of the can.
Do you like lobster?
Yeah, but like more like a lobster roll, probably.
Oh
Something
my
like that.
God. We're the exact opposites. I could eat all the
Why don't
seafood
you
in the
eat
world.
this thing then?
Well, because it's not lobster. I could eat lobster, clams, oysters all day long, every day. Get a seafood tower, and I'm in heaven. Oh.
No, I don't like fishy smelling stuff.
Gosh.
So,
Pete, you're not a fish guy either?
No, not at all. Fish sticks, even then.
Oh my God.
Fish sticks is not seafood.
EJ,
also, don't look on the ingredients on a fish stick. It's basically the hot dog of the sea.
Seafood is my favorite. It's like one of my favorite foods. Like,
EJ, we got to go to a high-end restaurant and order the seafood tower and make Pete and Maggie pay for part of it.
I'll be eating chicken fingers in the back.
Yeah. A hamburger.
All right. 8 o'clock Eastern time. That's when this comes your way. YouTube.com/Infinity Sportsnet, Twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network, and on Twitter/X.
Is there going to be a not safe for work warning on this? Because this could get quite ugly.
Coming up, the biggest loser from last night's draft. We'll tell you who.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining.
Hey, it's Andrew Perloff. I'm genuinely impressed with NBC's Al Michaels AI, a revolutionary addition to Olympics broadcasting. This AI doesn't just mimic Michaels' iconic voice. It encapsulates his deep understanding of the games and storytelling prowess. By analyzing decades of Michaels' commentary, this AI reacts with timely, authentic insights, maintaining the high standards he set. It's a seamless blend of nostalgia and innovation, providing a familiar yet modern voice that enhances the viewing experience. This integration of technology and broadcasting expertise is a standout example of how AI can extend a legendary legacy in sports media.
One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining.
Sitting in my room, scrolling through the tube, watching Maggie Perloff, getting in the groove. Found a viewer in the chat, his name's Dalton Knecht. Spitting fire comments, he's the #1 fan.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
First round of the NBA draft last night. We got some winners and losers for you. Hey, welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. If you were not dialed in, locked in. This draft is a little light on star power, but the Lakers end up becoming the headline, of course, not because Bronny went in the first round. He did not, Bron's son. But they did get Dalton Knecht, who you may remember from the NCAA tournament, SEC Player of the Year. Good story, junior college guy who ended up getting this big growth spurt, then went to Northern Colorado, then went to Tennessee. So they get him at 17, Pearl, and he's a 23-year-old shooter who can, in theory, contribute right away for the Lakers.
I can't believe the Lakers, after all their chaos, we're going to, they have J.J. Redick as their front runner. Then they offer Danny Hurley a contract for the coaching job. Then they go back to J.J. Redick, and no one knows who's in charge. They luck into what seems like the best pick of the first round. It makes me mad, actually. I feel like they stumbled into this pick that seems like he should have gone higher. Now, I guess the NBA obviously is smarter than me at this, and they thought he was too old at 23 because no 23-year-old has ever panned out. But it just feels like, you tell me you watched Reed Sheppard last year and he was better than Dalton Knecht, 15 picks better? I know Reed Sheppard looks like a great prospect, but still, obviously Dalton Knecht would kill these guys last year. Then again, he was 23 beating up 19-year-olds.
Yeah,
so
right.
It's hard to evaluate. It's a Michael Penix debate in the NFL.
Yeah.
Where you have an old guy, but Dalton Knecht grew into his body. There's not a lot of guys who've had the exact same trajectory that he's had coming out of a small school to one year at a big school. We all saw it on TV. He was dominating guys. He was on fire. It's just bizarre to me.
Yeah, this is kind of a little bit like what happened to Kentucky in the NCAA tournament. They lost to Oakland in the first round because that guy Jack Golke was 25 and was just raining threes all over him.
But it's nothing like that because Dalton Knecht was doing it to everybody, and Knecht wasn't just threes. He was dunking on everybody's head.
No,
he's a high flyer, and also he could create his own shot. He's not really J.J. Redick. Like he was not a catch and shoot guy by any means. Like he had to get a pick. He dribbles like. I don't get it. And I think I'm not alone. There are a lot of experts on Twitter last night. Our buddy, I have a tweet from Seth Davis, who covers college basketball. He said, all these teams are going to seriously, all caps, regret not taking Dalton Knecht. Pure malpractice, and now they made him mad. I think, of course, college guys have a college bias, but it's just kind of crazy. You watch your eyeballs that Dalton Knecht was so much better than everybody. And that he fell. It seems like an analytics-driven move.
Well, or maybe they feel like this is it. He's topped out. And that's the other thing about taking guys who are 23. You're asking, now Knecht, to his credit, has gotten better at every level that he's played on, and he gets to Tennessee. In 1 year, he's the SEC Player of the Year, and he looked great. But does he have another gear? So then he's got but he does have a high floor. So maybe that's a positive.
The other question about Dalton Knecht's game is going to be the defense because he got picked on a little bit defensively on the ball at Tennessee. Tennessee was a great defensive team, but it wasn't necessarily because of him. And now playing in the NBA, a lot better one-on-one players all across the court. Is he a guy you have to hide? I think it's something that also could have been a reason why he slipped.
Well, they hide Luka Doncic, and he's probably the best player in the entire NBA.
Luka Doncic?
Well, according to Seth Davis, they're all going to seriously regret. No, he's going to have to get better playing defense. I think, we talk about this a lot. Isn't that in his control? I always think that there are some guys who have a nose for it, a knack for it, but I also think playing defense is about effort and how much better do you want to get at it.
Well, I think everything you just said, you could have said about Grayson Allen. He's been a very productive NBA player.
He just got paid.
Yeah, for sure. I think Allen's probably a little bit special than Jay, but yeah, he's not.
They're built similar with gigantically long arms.
Yeah, I know. I think that we've seen a lot of guys though come into the league that have a shot, and you think, okay, like just because a guy can shoot, he definitely should be able to stick. Like a Nick Stauskas, for example, like some guys that you just think, okay, his shot will automatically get him on the court, and you could have a good shot, but if you can't guard anybody, it's just like you can't put him on the floor. Like Duncan Robinson's been in and out of the rotation for the Miami Heat. He might be the very best shooter in the NBA, and he can't keep a consistent rotation spot because of his defense.
But he's gotten paid. What really helps,
and they regret that.
What really helps Dalton Knecht here is that the 16 picks before him are so speculative this year. Like it's a low bar. If it was a good draft, then it could fall. But the odds are a lot of these guys these are long projects. These are 3 or 4 year projects. So I think Dalton Knecht's going to look pretty good when he's actually contributing this year because he's 23. And then some French kid is in the G League who went 5 picks before him. I think this is going to work out for the Lakers.
All right, let's do some winners and losers from the first round of the draft. Again, we have today, the second round doesn't start until I think 4 o'clock this afternoon. Okay, so we'll see what happens with Bronny and with Kyle Filipowski. And who else? Tyler Kolek, I believe.
Kolek's out there.
A couple guys who are still floating around. Okay, Perloff, your first winner is who?
Okay, I'm going to go with the T-Wolves, who got Rob Dillingham in a trade with the Spurs. I can't believe the T-Wolves came out here with a player because wasn't the offseason storyline that they really have no financial options to add more talent. I felt like they needed a little more offense. I think, obviously, if Anthony Edwards wasn't scoring, there were points where nobody else could score. And Karl Anthony Towns is so come and go that this seems like the perfect fit, beyond perfect fit. Now, Rob Dillingham was okay at Kentucky. Obviously, you mentioned they lost in the first round, but Kentucky guards.
He was hurt, wasn't he?
Look at the Kentucky guards. I mean, it's you have to give them the benefit of the doubt because all of them have been amazing. Tyrese Maxey, Devin Booker, Jamal Murray. So it feels like whatever he did in college, it doesn't even matter. He's going to blow up. Obviously, Tyrese Maxey is my model here. It feels like this was a steal, and I don't think the Spurs got a lot. A 2031 pick that's probably going to be like the 23rd pick. I just don't understand that move. I feel like he'd be great for the Spurs, right? Like, wouldn't that be a good player to have around Victor Wembanyama?
I thought so. It was a little surprising. And then I'm like, how much is Dillingham going to play? Now you're going to a contender in Minnesota, and are you going to be able to get on the floor?
But they're kind of thin, though. Because their starting point guard, Mike Conley, is going to be 38.
Yeah, that's true. So tangentially off of that, I'll make my first winner, John Calipari, off the draft last night. Last year, after 15 seasons at Kentucky, and he comes up with 2 more lottery picks to add to his resume of sending guys to the NBA. I know Kentucky fans got fed up with Cal and the losing in the tournament and not being like a true championship contender, but Reed Shepherd goes in the lottery. You just mentioned Dillingham ends up getting first taken by the Spurs, then traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves last night. So how about Cal as a big winner from last night? His final sort of salute to Kentucky, 2 more lottery picks who are under his tutelage. All right, you got a loser for us. Let's go flip-flop back and forth.
All right, this one is very controversial. I'm piling on because a lot of people have said this. Zach Edey and Memphis Grizzlies, you have a Ferrari in John Morant, and now you have a pickup truck in Zach Edey. You saw him running at the NBA scouting combine. The dude is slower than me, and that is a feat. I just don't quite understand. Like, the Grizzlies should run up and down on teams because you think of John Morant. He's so explosive if he gets healthy and gets his act together. It just feels like, and a lot of people said this, it feels like such a weird fit. I guess there would be a role for him, but I don't get it. Like, the one team that Zach Edey I would not really picture him on is Memphis. So I'm going to put that situation as a loser. Okay. The whole situation.
We're doing winners and losers.
Both Edey and Memphis, like, oh man, that's where he's going.
Well, I've seen people say this would be great for Ja to come around screens being set by Zach Edey. But to your point, they do a lot in transition. But maybe they're thinking in the playoffs when sort of the game slows down a little bit more and you do a few more set pieces.
That could be true. But
maybe Zach Edey is a help there.
I saw a funny tweet. John Morant's going to go up and down the court 7 times before Zach Edey gets over half court. There's just 2 diametrically opposed people. Maybe it's the you're right. The Zach Edey's screen is pretty gigantic. I mean, that's hard to get around. So that's a good point. And the playoffs do slow down. But I kind of agree with people who said this felt like an odd fit.
Definitely. Okay, winners and losers from the first round of the draft. I'm going to go with like the literal definition of a loser here, which is actually Dalton Knecht. By the virtue of not being a top 10 pick, lost $16 million last night because he doesn't get all of that guaranteed money. It would have been $34 million guaranteed. It goes down to $18 million guaranteed. He literally lost tons of money. Now, he might have ended up in the best spot with the Lakers, but let's not pretend like there was no, at least individually, there was nothing that stung because he fell out of the top 10 last night. So Dalton Knecht, yes, maybe a winner going to the Lakers, but definitely a loser because $16 million that would have been guaranteed is now gone.
So you're saying for $16 million, you would rather be, say, lost in Washington, just in the neverland of NBA, than be a Lakers, a playoff contender next to LeBron James with a coach who's already talking about ATO sets where he's going to get you open?
Listen, he hasn't panned out yet, and we have a long history of guys being this age who have not panned out. I'm just saying, if you're talking about winners and losers, Dalton Knecht lost money last night, a lot of it by not being a top 10
This is the NBA, and I was seeing some things on what the next salary cap is going to be. he has a chance to make that money back times twofold. You don't have to be that good to get $400 million in the NBA anymore.
Well, who's your next winner?
Okay, my next winner is going to be the country of France.
Oh, yeah.
So
They're number one.
Did you have them too? Sorry.
I did, but I was going to go specifically on Tony Parker, but go ahead.
Oh, no.
We'll tag team this.
I just think it's really interesting that I'm all about Team Canada in basketball, but now and it's based on the interviews last night. Every French guy who got drafted, he came with Monica McNutt, and those guys have a lot of swag. They're like, let's go French hoops, and I had no idea France was such a big basketball country. I remember Tony Parker, obviously, and Boris Diaw and the crew. But it feels like this is a group of young players who are going to be really interesting together. And like they're all buddies, and except that there's some rivalries. It just seems like a cool group.
Yeah, they were all emotional last night, too. All the French players definitely feeling it. Well, obviously, you got Wembanyama last year, right? 7'4", and he's sort of this unicorn. And now here come like I want to say more quote unquote normal or typical guys, because these are all the top 1% of 1% of athletes. But it's not just the outlier of Wembanyama, who's this freakish, looking person. Now it's kind of, these are the sort of 6'9", 3-and-D guys, right? This is the more rank and file dudes, rotation players in the NBA that France is now going to be providing for this country. But why I was saying, or for this league, Tony Parker is the godfather over there. They were talking about it last night on the broadcast. A lot of this doesn't happen without Tony Parker, so I think he ends up being a big winner last night.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't the dream team. It was Tony Parker who got all this going?
Apparently, he's really involved in French basketball right now. So as far as developing these dudes, Tony Parker is who everyone should thank.
It's amazing to me there's so many tall French people. But, okay.
Well, they're coming from other countries. That was a great point I thought made by Jonathan Gavoni, is like it's one of the most diverse places in the world. And you're seeing these people coming from Africa, coming from the Middle East. Like you're getting, just like the soccer team has become this star-studded team because you're getting these amazing athletes from all over. We're seeing that now in basketball.
Why are they all 6? How can there be that many 6'11" people? Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're not coming from France. I think at least their parents aren't, and you're seeing former French basketball players, having kids, and former French athletes having kids. So I think that's why you're seeing some of these really long athletic athletes.
So France, definitely a huge winner last night. I've got another winner for you, and this is nail salons in Philadelphia. Nail salons in Philadelphia. This is about to be your time, because you had McCain from Duke, who famously has the nails painted all the time, and they look great. The legend is he got a manicure before a game and played awesome. Yeah. So this is like more of a superstitious thing. He's really leaned into it. He was a great player at Duke. Your Philadelphia 76ers took him Perloff at 16, which is one spot before Dalton Knecht went to the Lakers. People love his personality, think he could be great with Joel Embiid in that locker room, and just sort of not just a great player, but also a good vibes guy. And nail salons in Philly, stand up, because he's going to be a great customer.
Wait. People so everyone's excited because they got a good TikToker in the backcourt. Why would anybody the Sixers are getting as close to irrelevant. I mean, I'm so off the bandwagon. They're not doing a single thing. They're not going to do a single thing right this offseason.
We're not allowing you to be off the bandwagon. You've got to stay on the.
Go back to the Pistons.
Good luck with all that.
Oh, yeah.
It was very funny last night. They're talking about McCain from Duke, and they're like, "This is the most focused guy we've seen. He is all about basketball." He also has 2.8 million TikTok followers, and he's just like in the back doing these TikTok dances. Those were the highlights they were running, not the basketball stuff.
You have the most unserious star in all professional sports in Joel Embiid, and you're adding this to the mix. It just feels like the Sixers are leaning towards mediocrity. Honestly, I speak for all of Philadelphia. Like, I don't think there's a lot of faith that maybe they'll overpay a 75-year-old Paul George, but this is bad. They should have taken Knecht. I don't care if Knecht never works out. Like, he's exactly what they need. I'm not sure. Like, so Maxey and McCain's going to play behind Maxey. I don't even understand what he's doing there. Totally irrelevant team. They're falling fast.
McCain can shoot it.
That's not
shooting.
So is he in the backcourt with Maxey? Like,
that's the weird thing, because he's short. He's 6'1", 6'2". Maxey's about 6'3", probably. I mean, Maxey maybe moves back over to the 2. I mean, to me, he's your backup point guard. That you didn't have one. Kyle Lowry's 100, so he's not going to be back next year. So I think McCain's your spark plug off the bench kind of guy.
No,
yeah,
EJ, I believe Kyle Lowry is contractually obligated to play for the Knicks along with everyone who ever stepped foot on the court in Villanova.
That is true, yeah. Sorry, Perloff. I don't think McCain's such a terrible pick.
Yeah, people like I guess people like the McCain pick, but
good player. I just don't know what the fit. I think that I see what you're saying about that.
The other thing too is like I've seen other teams making moves, and the 76ers have all this cap space, and like this pick doesn't really mean that much. Like,
yeah, but they'd be smart not to go after Paul George, don't you think? You hate that. So if they're going to spend all this money on Paul George, you're not going to like that either. So kind of darned if you do, darned if you don't.
I don't think they're going to do anything. I mean, honestly, I don't think they have a move up their sleeve. It's getting late for Joel Embiid. Embiid's probably going to want to be out, I'd say, within a year or two. And I don't blame him.
Daryl Morey last night said that they're planning to be the best team in the East.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
How you can execute that plan is the better question. All right, you got any more winners and losers?
I do not. We talked about this first hour. I don't understand really what the Spurs are doing with Stephon Castle at number 4 because, I mean, they took Sohan last year for his defense. I just feel like this team is not exactly offensively high-powered around Wembanyama. The fact that I was saying to EJ before, I felt like they took Bruce Bowen at number 4 overall. Like, what? Why is it that all of a sudden this like everyone's like into defense now? Number 4 seems like you should get a really good offensive player, and the way they were talking about Castle last night is like that's not in the cards.
Well, the offense is going to run through Wemby.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. It's just like, is this exciting? Like a Spurs building something here? Doesn't really.
I know Bruce Bowen was pretty important on all of those championships.
It used to be Bruce Bowen be like, you get that guy in the second round.
Oh yeah,
not 4 overall is really rich. 4 you get like Kristaps Porzingis.
I know, but this is not that kind of draft.
I understand. Yeah, I understand. Maybe that's part of the disappointment. It just feels like, wow, that's a number 4 overall. And Shepard felt pretty thin for the number 3 pick. And the first 2 guys feel. I was reading about the number 2 pick, Sarr. It just feels like a very, very thin top 5.
Well, that was going to be my final loser. Was going to be Alex Sarr because someone still has to explain to me why this dude only wanted to go to DC. Like, does he know something that we don't know? Because that team is sorry.
Well, I heard that he wants to be a main piece of the offense, and in Atlanta he would not be.
Yeah, but Atlanta, we don't know what's going to happen.
We don't know who's going to be on that team.
Yeah,
next year.
right. Trae Young and Murray could be gone. So I don't know. I know that Atlanta gets some flack about not being a great sports town. I think it actually is. DC, you're really climbing uphill there, especially with the basketball team. Maybe if you play for the Commanders, you got a little something going for you. Capitals, maybe the Nationals, but not for the basketball team. They are as irrelevant as they come.
You would think since Quinn Snyder, head coach of the Hawks, kind of developed Rudy Gobert and turned him into a defensive player of the year. Someone mentioned as a Hall of Famer yesterday, which is kind of interesting. I was like, he probably is a Hall of Famer, but either way, you would think Alex Sarr, Frenchman, great defensive player, a little different, but you would think that maybe he would be excited about playing for Quinn Snyder. Kendrick Perkins shot to him. He just asked him point blank, what about Atlanta do you not like? And he wouldn't answer the question. He was like, I'm not saying that I don't like him. Like, you can't just look at me turning down a workout and say that I don't want to go there.
Well, kind of.
Yeah, I think you can. I think that's kind of fair.
I'm like, the guy knows that, like, even though D.C. is the capital of the country, like, it doesn't mean that it's the best basketball place to go to, right?
Well, I feel like I actually like his mentality. He's like, I want to get shots.
You'll get them.
Somebody's got to shoot in that team. They just got rid of Denny Avdia.
Yeah, right. They
One of the
traded
only
him
good
last
players
night.
they had, they traded. So good luck with that.
By the way, I wouldn't get too high on Atlanta either. It's not like Atlanta's that much different than Washington. They're all starting to. I don't know if they have the picks, but they're all circling around next year's draft as well, right?
By the way, another pickup for the Blazers. We should mention that last night as we were talking about Klingon. They did trade for Denny Avdia.
Yeah, I mean, and then that's the thing about Atlanta, though, is we don't know what they're going to be. Because if you still have Trae Young, Murray, I guess you're probably still floating around the plan. If you don't, well, now you're talking about a rebuild. So he might have gotten shots either place. And I would rather play for Quinn Snyder than play in Washington. That would be me if I was Alex Sarr. So I didn't really quite understand that.
Don't worry. What I saw, Sarr, he's not going to be playing anywhere anytime soon. He just doesn't look that good. Even his highlight reel is not that good. Sorry, one more winner, and I got to get the guy's name. Denver got back into the first round, right, and took
Rindon.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and before the draft, Gavoni was saying this is going to be the steal of the draft, and Denver got him. The Dayton big man, right?
No, sorry, that's Phoenix. Phoenix got Deron Holmes, 22.
Oh, okay.
Denver got Ryan Dunn, the swingman defender from Virginia. Who Ryan Dunn was considered by far the best defensive player in the draft.
Oh, so who? Tell me about Deron Holmes, Jonathan Givony. The one I learned who all these guys were last night. They were saying this guy is the steal of the draft, before the draft and after the draft. So I'm sorry, I couldn't remember where Denver got in there.
No, Deron Holmes is a really talented offensive player. I mean, he's one of those guys, if you're looking for a guy who had college production, he had a lot of it. He can rebound, he can score inside, he has a little bit of a three-point shot. Phoenix needs guys who can go out there and, like, give them minutes. Like, that was the problem. They talk about the teams running out of players. Like, they seem to just run out of players, not necessarily because of injuries, because of guys not being good enough to be in the NBA. If Deron Holmes comes in, he should be able to play immediately. So I thought that was a good pick as well.
855-212-4227. Winners and losers from the first round of last night's draft. We still have Bronny James out there. We still have Kyle Filipowski from Duke out there. We still have Tyler Kolek out there from Marquette. So some interesting.
Johnny Furphy, I don't know how he didn't get drafted from Kansas. 6'9", can shoot the ball, lights out shooter. I mean, I that was the one that I still am trying to figure out what happened. I know he's 19, a little raw, but all these raw guys that got drafted that can't shoot, and the guy who can shoot doesn't get picked and played at Kansas. We saw him play in the NCAA tournament. That was the one that I didn't understand. He's still left in the second round.
Great name, Furphy.
Australian.
855-212-4227. Okay, we have some NFL stuff we got to update you on as well. Not just basketball today. Coming up in about 40 minutes, I eat the disgusting tuna fish Jello olive thing. I lost a bet. I'm paying that bet off today. If you want to watch, youtube.com/Infinity Sportsnet, twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network, and we'll be live on X.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining.
I'm Peter Schwartz, and I've got to say, the Al Michaels NBC AI is a marvel in sports broadcasting. Witnessing technology evolve in this industry, I'm beyond impressed with how this AI encapsulates Al's legendary voice and his profound insights on the game. It feels like Al Michaels is right there in the booth, delivering the sharp and familiar commentary we all treasure. This AI not only elevates the viewing experience with its precise and lively commentary, but also pays a stellar tribute to Al's legacy in sports. It's a perfect meld of tradition and cutting-edge technology, ensuring Al Michaels' iconic presence continues to inspire and entertain fans everywhere.
"15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie Perloff. We're having fun breaking down the NBA draft. The broadcast was quite a thing last night, Maggie.
Which one were you generally watching? There were two.
I started on ESPN,
Okay.
and then
That's
EJ reminded us via text that it was also on ABC.
Yep.
I'm going to say Stephen A's been busy lately. It didn't seem like he had been hours and hours breaking down.
Is that what they're paying Stephen A for, though?
No. He was good on the current teams, but I saw this tweet made me laugh so hard last night. Like, 7th round, Mel Kiper's like, this guy weighs 242 pounds. He has short arms. He did this in high school, like a 7th round guard. Stephen A, I've never heard of this man in my life by like the 8th pick.
Yeah, I know, but Mel only has one job to do. They need Stephen A on everything. He's got to weigh in on literally everything in the world.
But then, for some reason, the ABC and ESPN broadcasts were so far behind Woj that they're always in that awkward position in a draft where a trade has happened and they're talking about the fit with a player being on a team. So Stephen A had this long monologue about what a great fit the Knicks pick was. And they was like, well, that pick was traded 14 minutes ago. So it's really
He's already
hard.
passed his physical for the Knicks.
But actually, a broadcasting question. I don't understand. If Woj is breaking the trade, doesn't he call the truck and say, be careful talking about this fit? And they were a good 10 to 20 minutes behind on the trades. It's really hard. I know you've worked some drafts before.
It's
you can
always like
find
that.
yourself at a tough spot, but it was way worse last night.
Yeah, I feel like, we always have the classic thing where guys are wearing the wrong hat when they're getting the photograph with the commissioner, which is funny because it's something that really doesn't happen in the NFL. And I don't know why, but it rarely does happen in the NFL where a guy has the wrong shirt and the wrong hat.
I'm 24 hours behind Woj. I thought Ryan was going to Denver, but it was a problem. I mean, and I don't know. I think some of it is the timing of the draft, right? Because some of these deals can't be finalized until, I guess, free agency technically starts.
Right.
But even last night, there were times where Adam Silver goes up and he announces that a trade would happen, but it happened a half hour ago.
Well, that's normal because they do have to make it official. But what I didn't understand, when Rob Dillingham was traded number 8 pick from the Spurs to Minnesota, they spent and Woj had tweeted it, they spent another good 10 minutes talking about what a great fit he was in San Antonio. I'm like, didn't somebody get in their ear and say, hey, this might be moving?
I think they're just trying to keep the TV show, and then whatever happens on social media, they act like it just doesn't exist.
But it's their guy. That's the thing.
No, I know.
I mean, it's Woj who's running the show, and he used to be a big part of the draft coverage. I'm not sure I saw a lot of them last night.
He was on ESPN. I don't know if you watch a lot of ABC, then
he
might not have been on there a lot. ESPN, he was coming in, and they were trying their best, but it's hard. It's and something the NBA's got fixed. Like Maggie says, in the NFL draft, you'll literally see the stage change from the Lions to the Texans. And you're like, oh, wow, a trade just happened. And then Schefter will say, hey, yes, a trade's happened. And then Goodell will go and say, hey, this pick was traded. And now with this pick, X, Y, and Z happens. You don't even see that in the NBA. They just go up there and just say the Knicks picked the guy, who's going to somewhere else.
Yeah,
they don't care.
it's like one of the flaws, I think, kind of in the viewing process, in like the viewing experience. I'm going to be honest. I also, though, the fashion stuff I thought was rather muted last night. You didn't have like Grady Dick, who shows up in like the red sequins and stuff like that. I will give you the one thing that will age poorly, though, because there's always something that's going to age poorly.
Uh-oh.
It's Stephon Castle having a chain that there's a big diamond castle.
A lot of guys were wearing big chains last night.
No, the big chain. But the fact that his last name is Castle and he has a big diamond thing that's it looks like a princess, like a medieval.
Like Peach's Castle from Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, from Super Mario Brothers. Like, just in diamonds. It's like, you're really rich now. You're not going to want to buy stuff like that anymore, I imagine. It's a little too on the nose.
What you guys think of Reed Shepherd's just plain off-green suit?
That was so out of place.
He also looks so young. Am I right? Like
babyface.
He looks like he's like the office intern. It was just a funny look, and he's small too. The other thing is like, wait, this little kid is getting drafted. His parents were, whoa. His mom with that Kentucky accent, that was really fun. I liked all the.
They mislabeled his dad. You guys see that? Listen, we get stuff wrong all the time.
Jeff Shepard,
yeah, they called him John on the graphic. Listen, we get stuff wrong all the time. I'm not going to call out another broadcast. But this is like what you do.
I will call out that entire broadcast. It felt like the WNBA draft was a gigantic event. The draft last night felt like something they had to cover because it was on the schedule. I felt no excitement from either broadcast. Found it really disappointing.
Well, so here's the thing, though. At least they didn't try to oversell you like, hey, this is 1996 and you got Iverson and Ray Allen and Kobe Bryant. They didn't try to do that to you. I felt like it was very appropriate for what they believe the level of player that got drafted last night. It's like, hey, he's going to be a role player. Nobody said, oh, here's the next superstar is going to save a franchise.
But here's my question and the problem I had, though. Do you feel like for a lot of people who are not familiar with a lot of these players, because a lot of them are overseas playing at Ignite or on college teams that maybe didn't win a lot, quite frankly, do you feel like they learned a lot by the players that were being drafted? Like who these players are, what their games are like, what to expect from them? Like, thank God, I hope nobody did a drinking game that said 3-and-D.
Yeah.
Because you'd be dead today.
In a coma at the very least.
And I know it's a buzzword, and I know it does describe some of these talents, but like, I don't know if people really learned anything last night, which has always been my big issue with how they cover the NBA draft. I feel like the NFL draft, I learn a lot. Even by guys I know, I learn a lot. I feel like this, you turned on, does anyone know more about Zachary Richardson than they did yesterday?
No. I knew nothing about him, and I don't really care, honestly, too, because that guy's not going to be good. But regardless, the 3-and-D, I saw a new thing. 3-and-D that can cover a 2 and a 3, so that's a 3D 2-3, Meg.
Wow. Thank you. Where would I be today without that information?
The wingspans are getting ridiculous. This guy, they're like, he's 6'9" and has a wingspan of a 7'8" man.
You're right. The wingspans keep getting bigger and bigger. It's like he's actually a California condor slash human.
But then you actually see them, and they're tall and skinny with gigantic wingspans. They're all so skinny and just tall and young. And the NBA draft is at a different place than it used to be when they had college players who we knew.
Yeah, that's true. 855-212-4227. Peter Schwartz is in with us this morning. He's providing all the headlines. Hello.
Hello. We'll start with the first round of the NBA draft in Brooklyn last night. First overall pick, the Hawks taking forward Zachary Richardson. I knew I was going to mess that up at some point today. Richardson from France. The Raptors had the second pick.
With the second pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Washington Wizards select Alex Sarr from Toulouse, France, overtime elite and Australia's Perth Wildcats of the NBL.
That was NBA Commissioner Adam Silver with the announcement on ESPN. How nervous do you think Adam Silver gets before these drafts with the international players? And even though it's probably all like so well phonetically put on the card for him, he's got to be really, really nervous.
I mean, this is the hardest probably for Bettman. I mean, the hockey names are never what you think they're going to be.
No.
And Goodell usually blows it.
Alex Sarr is an easy one.
That was the easy one.
What's the I won't say his name. That guy that started with a T and Denver, famously, he has a curse word at the beginning of his name. I don't want to say it. Nicholas. I won't say it.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
He was like the number 4 pick by...
Oh, Nicholas Skeetisvili.
Okay, good. You said it.
What?
That's his name.
Because it often ends up sounding like...
Something that Pete would have to dump?
Yes. That's how
I have a bigger problem with Brian Gutekunst, the general manager of the Packers. Somehow,
Dan Patrick did the draft when Skeetus Veely was there. Yeah. He said everybody was panicking about it because it's not spelled like it sounds at all.
Oh, really? I thought it was, yeah. He won an all-time bust, by the way.
Alexander Sarr, that's easy, I think.
There was a player.
Not easy.
There was I think I saw last week or the week before on X, a high school football player committed, or maybe it was a transfer. Somebody committed to Michigan State. And after they announced this with this graphic, people were commenting, rest in peace to the Michigan State radio play-by-play announcer for having to say, because you could make
it was long?
No, it could have been racially offensive.
Yeah, no, that's a big thing. That kid.
I don't know if you saw that, but there was. So the last name, it was correct, and that's what it looked like. But if I was the radio announcer, I'm like, I just hope the guy doesn't get into the game.
Get that person a nickname. I don't know what it is. I didn't see this story, but
one thing about the NFL too. The last night Adam Silver would be like, and he plays in the New Zealand NBL something Tigers. In the NFL, it's like he's a defensive tackle from Georgia. Like we understand that. Like Adam Silver's like, and he plays in some country. Like that's the funny thing about the NBA draft is that how many of them play in Australia? We're like, what's going on down in Australia right now? They are balling out.
It's a great league.
Yeah,
we
really
know that, right?
I mean, LaMelo Ball played there. Josh Giddey played there. Like it's approaching Europe level. They have really good ball players there.
There was one. Wasn't there a guy last night who decided not to go to Texas and instead went to Australia? I think that was one of the prospects.
Yeah, like, could have been.
Yeah.
Rounding out the
interesting choice.
Rounding out the top five, the Rockets at 3. Reed Shepherd from Kentucky. The Spurs take UConn guard Stephon Castle at 4. And G League Ignite forward Ron Holland II taken by the Pistons at number 5. Let's turn our attention now to the NFL. Titans defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons joining the Rich Eisen show yesterday. He says he cannot wait to talk trash with Bears rookie quarterback Caleb Williams.
It's going to be one of them games, especially, I mean, he probably get smack talk to his his teammates right now, but like it's gonna be, especially a game like that, my first game, like of course I missed the last end of the season. Right. It's gonna be the first game of the season. They got us coming to Chicago. All the hype gonna be around them.
And also the painted nails.
Week 1 of the National Football League season will be the first human being on the other side of the line of scrimmage.
Painted nails.
In a game.
Painted nails. I can't wait to say that to him.
For Caleb Williams.
Most definitely.
Listen, I think this is just kids today. I mean, you saw McKay in the last night for the Philadelphia 76ers from Duke. He's got the famously manicured. Caleb Williams has got the manicured nails. This is the look now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly.
Get used to it.
No, not for me.
Maybe we should all go get some.
Well, I do get manicures and pedicures, but they always ask me, do you want a color? I'm like, are you kidding me?
Well,
like, come on now.
You're in the salon, Peter.
It takes a lot for a guy to go into one of those places. You think I'm getting color on my fingernails?
Can I say something that might come off as mean, but I don't mean it? I would rather die right now than give you a pedicure.
Yeah, well, that's why I tip them very, very well.
But Matt, you have a chance to get out of your
because if my wife doesn't want to touch my toenails, I can't believe somebody else would want to.
Do you realize what they probably do? I would imagine in a nail salon,
a chainsaw.
When you come in, is probably that whatever nail salon version of rookie hazing is. Like whoever's the lowest person on the totem pole, they're like, get out there.
What size shoe do you wear?
14 wide.
Yeah. Do you have to pay double to get a pedicure?
No, I just tip them a couple of dollars more than I think the average person would.
Yeah, you got to go 20%
I do, because
on that
I feel bad. I mean, it's not the nicest thing in the world to look at.
Maggie, when you're eating that lime Jello tuna concoction,
don't tell me.
Just think. No, don't think about Peter's feet. Just like it could be worse. The stakes could have been you have to give a foot massage to Peter. So it could always be worse.
I was thinking you guys always make fun of me about my big feet because I wear a size 9. Yeah, Peter's wearing a 14 wide. Imagine if you are like, what size are your feet? I'm like, they're 14 wide.
Yeah. No,
you're the best balance in the history of the world.
You're a ballerina compared to those feet.
I'm Frodo.
Yeah.
Sorry, Pete.
Simmons, Sachet Simmons excited to play against Williams.
I get it. When you got a first-round pick like Caleb Williams himself, which is a great player. Watch him a couple games when he was at USC, and he's a hell of a player. But it's a different league, and I'm excited to play him the first game.
It's going to be an interesting look, week 1.
It's going to be exciting. EJ thinks the Bears are making the playoffs.
I mean, the odds are pretty good. They're actually, I think their win total's right at the playoffs. I don't think that's a hot take to think they're going to make the playoffs. The only thing is their division.
Early,
no, but
yes.
It's just the thing about it is, so we think the Lions are making the playoffs, and we think the Packers are making the playoffs.
Yeah,
so
that's
are we really
a good
having three teams from the NFC North are all making the postseason?
I don't think the West is going to get 2 again. I think maybe the Rams come down without Aaron Donald.
The East falls apart this year, and the South is terrible.
Yep.
So
but why would the East fall apart? Why?
Well, because I think that people think the Cowboys will take a step back, and the Eagles were terrible at the end of last year, and the Giants and the Commanders are still building.
I still think the Eagles and Cowboys are still making the playoffs.
Yeah, but I don't think either team is as strong as a position as they were coming into last year. Could you give me that?
I think Cowboys are the same. Isn't that the problem? It's not that they've really taken the step back. It's that they're just the same.
Yeah, but it's funny, like expectation-wise, if you stay the same, that feels like a step back.
Yeah, I mean, they won 12 games last year. So I don't know if I would.
They definitely
I would say
lost a bunch of guys, too. I mean.
Yeah, but are they guys who you were really crying to see walk out the door? I mean, think about it. Even, Tyron Smith ends up going to the Jets, but that was like for no guaranteed money. They let him walk out.
Yeah, but still, like expectation-wise, like you can't just take for granted you're losing one of the top 5 tackles of all time.
I'm just saying.
I know he was never on the field.
Center too.
Obiage.
Yeah.
And they lost Deron Bland left too, I think, right?
The only thing I don't worry about with the Cowboys is the offensive line. I don't worry about it. They've got this down in terms of drafting guys.
Bland's still there, but
not Bland. They lost one of the
Gilmore is still out there.
They lost one of their defensive linemen too, like a rotational defensive lineman. Like, yeah, I don't know. It just feels like but it has nothing to do with that. It's the fact that if you're not moving forward, you're like a shark. You're dying.
Yeah, they got Mike Zimmer coming in, though, for the defense. I'm not worried about that.
Oh, geez. Mike Zimmer. Oh, my God.
Maybe they'll get something out of their linebackers now, finally.
Dan Quinn, I don't know. He's better than Mike Zimmer. Anyway.
Okay, so we've got to leave it there, Peter. Thank you so much. Coming up at the top of the hour, this is when I'm going to pay off the bet. I'm going to eat the lime, Jello, tuna fish, green olive thing. We've got to get it out of the fridge where it's been sitting for the last 20 hours. We've got to get it out of the mold, and we've got to get it onto a plate. I've brought my own spoon. So I got that covered. Can we handle all this in the next 20 minutes? 855-212-4227. We've got even more football for you before this all goes down at the top of the hour, so stay tuned.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Giant feet, they're the talk of the town. When she walks the sidewalk cracks, she's bringing buildings down. She tried to buy some shoes, but they said no way. Now she's wearing boat sails just to get through the day. Maggie's giant feet, they're a real big deal. Stepping on puddles, creating lakes for real. Maggie's giant feet, they make a mighty thud. But Maggie just laughs, hey, it's all in good fun. She went to a dance, cleared out the floor. Her feet making music for the skill.
15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Minus about 11 minutes until I have to pay off my lime Jello tuna fish green olive bet. I lost and doubled down on a bet in the NBA Western Conference playoffs.
Are we going to put plastic down on the floor? I think we should. We have some back in the office. I'll get it. I think we need to maybe. Are you going to wear a bib or something?
I didn't bring anything. Like, I don't have a poncho. I didn't bring any. I'm woefully unprepared for this, even though we've had plenty of time to get ready.
A poncho? Is that we're talking about projectile vomiting? Here?
Maybe you should have the poncho.
Yeah, I should have the poncho. I'm fully prepared. I'm going to be on the balls of my toes here to escape when this thing goes awry.
I mean, I would like a garbage can just so I don't have to run out of the studio. I'd rather be able to just vomit right in here. Now,
a little history, by the way. You have actually thrown up at a food challenge, right?
I did. That was because I ate so much. I had to eat one large, like New York City, large, like a wagon wheel, basically, pizza in 2 hours.
Your favorite food?
It's my favorite food. I didn't eat it for a long time after that.
Really?
Yeah, and I ate it. I ate the whole thing in 2 hours, just hero status, as close as I'll ever get. And then I puked it all up.
I could eat that pizza in 15 minutes.
Well, I mean, if you want to relitigate this thing, I'm done with that.
No, I just don't want all those carbs.
By the way, I took a walk back there.
Yeah, give us an update.
Yeah, I walked back there. Wanted to look at the concoction, about to post to the social.
Yeah. I don't want to see it, actually, before I have to.
Okay, don't go to Twitter then, because it's going to be up in a couple minutes.
Okay.
It's Jello now.
Okay, good.
So I did a little bounce test. It's bouncy. The color on this is obscene.
Yeah, I know.
I don't even know how to describe this color. I know we said toothpaste earlier.
It's like mint.
No, this color doesn't exist. There's no analogy. There's no draft comp for this color.
No, but it's worse than yesterday.
It's not Wally Zerbiak?
Because it's not really even green anymore. I don't know what I would describe. It's like if you've been in an apartment that's like, been condemned and the walls that were once white become like another yellowish green color. That's what I'm looking at.
It's not aqua anymore?
No, it's not. No, it's not that aqua teal.
Yeah.
That like mint ice cream, maybe toothpaste that you can say, okay, maybe not. So this is now something. This has become something that I'm a little concerned about. Maggie, your health, I'm very worried.
My stomach is turning already, and there's nothing in it. That's the thing. I've only had coffee and water this morning.
I'm actually concerned this thing could start to reproduce and grow. I mean, that thing could be alive any minute now.
Oh, Delta's in the chat. Seafoam green? Is it seafoam green?
Nope.
Ooh.
No, it sure isn't. Honestly, it looks like it was like picked out of Chernobyl.
Oh no!
It looks nuclear. It looks like some kind of superpower thing. Like this is an origin story about to start.
Seafoam green is fair. I had to look up what seafoam green was to make sure I knew what I was talking about. Yeah, I think that's the color I would say this is right now.
I'm worried about getting puke in my hair. All that. I'm worried about every single facet of this. Just like also having the images of me throwing up like on the internet. When I threw up the pizza, the only shot they got of it was like a blurry angle. People who were in the studio know, but it's kind of like the photo evidence didn't bury me for the rest of time.
Like Will Chamberlain's 100-point game. We don't know if it actually happened.
It's kind of a myth.
This is like Donovan McNabb at the Super Bowl. Is this going to stay with you?
Yes. Yeah. And there's no chance I'm winning. So also like Donovan McNabb.
Yeah, you're exactly. This is seafoam green. I did not know this color existed.
I know. Look at Delta in our chat. By the way, if you want to watch this, there's 3 different ways you can do this. If you don't, our affiliates who we love, we're obsessed with you, Infinity Sports Network, you're going to get the full picture of what's going on. We'll do theater of the mind here. Bogusch is actually going to come in and do play-by-play for this whole thing. So we've got a professional on our hands. You want to listen on the Odyssey app, it's absolutely free to download. If you'd like to listen on Sirius XM channel 158, I'm sure they're thrilled that we're doing this today. If you do want to watch this go down, though, there are 3 ways you can do it. YouTube.com/InfinitySportsNet, Twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network, or we will be live on X, if you'd like to, on my Twitter handle, @MaggieGray. I'll be going live. You'll get the main studio feed. You're going to get everything.
Here we go. It's on.
Yeah. David said, "Head up, Maggie. You're truly a soldier." I don't think so.
No,
I am
no,
not
no.
brave. This is not going to be fun for me.
So what was the bet? The T-Wolves Nuggets. The T-Wolves were already up 1 game, and you thought the Nuggets would come back. When it was 58-38 in Game 7.
I was like, ha 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 ha.
Yeah, and then you saw that T-Wolves team that you saw against the Mavs. I mean, really, it's almost as if the universe went out of its way to make you lose this bet. Because basketball-wise, it still makes no sense.
It makes no sense. How was Denver at home in a Game 7 up by 20 points, and how did they lose to the Timberwolves, who then went on to get smoked by Dallas?
It's bizarre.
You're right. It is like the universe was trying to teach me a lesson, and I'm learning it today.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Michael Porter played really badly. I don't know what else to say.
Biggie says Maggie's going to be more famous than the Hawk Tuah girl. Make some hats. Nobody's more famous than her.
Wow,
I can't even infringe on that level of fame.
I mean, we're talking like Taylor Swift level with
her.
Yeah,
no, I know. She's in a different stratosphere. And
yes, but there will be gagging involved in this too.
That's what's going on today, everybody. 855-212-4227. On the other side of this commercial break, I will eat this disgusting Jello. Oh boy. See you in a minute.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Pounded. It's game day, the crowd's on fire. Maggie and Perloff, the legends we admire. Stats and insights, they bring the heat. Hot takes that sing to every heartbeat. They love the Bills and Eagles, the pride in their eyes, cheering for their teams, reaching for the skies. Every time
this is Maggie Gray with an
they're in the zone with passion and energy. They make the stadium their own. Unstoppable gridiron, the anthem of the game. Maggie and Perloff igniting the flame. When they're on the mic, you know it's gonna be a thrill. A sports duo like no other. They've got the Bills and Eagles
2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
It's all going down right now. This is what's happening. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We'll get back to the first round of the NBA draft in just a moment. Lakers get Dalton Knecht from Tennessee. France sits atop the basketball world yet again, with French players not only going 1, but also 2 and 6 and 25. It's France's world, y'all. We're just living in it. All of that, though, gets put on the back burner right now because we're paying off a bet today. And if you know anything about us, we take this stuff very extremely seriously. Now, the bet was thus. I believe that even when the Timberwolves were up 1-0 over the Denver Nuggets, I thought Denver was still going to come back and win that series. Spoiler, they did not. I then doubled down on the Western Conference Finals. I lost again. So here we are, many days later, where I have to eat something that resembles a dish called lutefisk. This is a Norwegian dish, delicacy, maybe? Oh, thank you. Perloff is bringing in plastic wrap.
For him or for you?
Us? For everybody. Bogish is also here. Amanda's here. EJ's here. If you can watch on the stream, everyone's in.
Amanda's just here to be here.
Yeah.
She's not even working today.
Thank you for coming in on your off day to watch me vomit.
Have you guys
Amanda?
ever seen Lethal Weapon 2? With the South African bad guy where he shoots a guy and there's plastic laid out on the ground because someone's about to die. We have that plastic.
Yeah, that was like American Psycho. You're like setting it all up just for me to get Jared Leto's into the head.
Maggie, why was this plastic there? Was for earlier food chat? Was it
this
the
is
chili?
No, this is for, well, we used it for that too. We just have plastic wraps sitting around. It's when you got the barbecue sauce dumped on your head.
Oh, okay.
Again, we take these things really seriously around here. So what's happening now is I lost this bet. We want to eat a gross food from Minnesota. Something resembling lutefisk is as close as we could get. That is some kind of fish in like gelatinous Jello. Perloff decided, as diabolically as he does, to take this to the next level. Lime Jello, tuna fish, but it really tuna salad because it's got mayonnaise in it and green olives.
The mayonnaise is really causing problems
It
for
really
you,
is.
isn't it, Maggie?
And it seems unnecessary.
Yep.
If you'd like to watch what's going down, you can do that. YouTube.com/InfinitySportsNet, Twitch.tv/InfinitySportsNetwork, and now we are live on YouTube.
EJ was really worried the color, the lime
Twitter.
green,
Yeah.
that it was going to stain the studio. Like, because it's some sort of, it looks like something out of a nuclear reactor. I'm not kidding at all.
I don't like how dense it looks, Maggie. Not to further mess with your head, but I don't like, usually Jello is like light and jiggly. And this, you can't see through this. You can just see olives peeking through the bottom of it.
We did actually, we actually took, we dipped into it like an oil dip. And something completely different happens 4 inches in.
That's just the top. That's like the scum of the pond.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yes. This is layered in a way that we would never could have expected.
Well, okay. So Bogish is going to do a little play-by-play. We have to get this Jello out of the mold. How do you guys feel about that?
I think it's going to be an experiment. We're worried that it's all going to fall apart.
Okay. Thank you for the garbage can, by the way. That is kind of you, because this is definitely going to be a problem.
Maggie,
EJ's got the Jello. Yeah.
Maggie, you settle up everything you had to do in life?
This is
all paperwork is signed.
It's funny. My husband was like, we have to up the life insurance. And I'm like, that's weird. Why would you just come to me with that last night?
Somebody else is picking up your kid at school today? Like all the things are accounted for? Okay.
Yes. He'll be at camp, I'm sure, very proud of his mom when he learns. Oh, gosh. So here's a question.
Yes.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not really a great physics. I thought the olives were going to sink to the bottom, and they never did.
No. Somebody had a theory that the tuna fish sank to the bottom because there's some reason the tuna fish has completely disappeared. We don't know where it is right
this is
now.
only could be the food gods throwing me a bone.
So this is my question. How are you or are you not assuring that Maggie actually tastes all of the ingredients in this thing? If they're not equally distributed, how are you making sure she gets an oyster?
Listen, Bogish, we'll get there,
tuna,
okay?
And an olive.
Got to make sure.
Actually, management made us pull the oysters.
Is that true?
Yes. They were like, that's a bridge too far. That could actually, we would need poison control if we put the smoked oysters in.
Okay, so a wronger is asking in the chat, how much do I have to eat? That's a great question. It was the subject of a lot of debate. Because the Nuggets lost in 7 games to the Timberwolves, I have to eat 7 bites. One for every game that series went to.
Forgot about that.
Okay, are we ready?
Here's my spoon. Yeah, so let's do it.
Can I turn it over? Okay, we have no idea what's about to happen now. We're going to turn over this concoction.
Wait, there's no water in that bowl, right? The water got taken out of the bowl.
No water.
Okay, there's no, here, you can take it out of the mold.
Oh, right.
Yeah, there you go.
There's a giant bowl underneath here. Okay.
Here, EJ, do you want to just take that bowl out of the way? Thanks.
Okay.
All right, so there it is. You can see it. It's like a bundt cake sort of tin.
It's going over a collection of plates. Not one big level surface.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1 on the turn.
Oh, the hands of Chase Utley. Oh my God, it's disgusting. It is so disgusting.
Oh, you're right about the tuna fish. It all fell to the bottom. Now it's on the top.
Yeah, I definitely would rather
This
watch.
is so much worse than we ever could have imagined.
By the way,
everyone in the studio is openly pulling out their phones and taking pictures because we may never see a thing like this
Are we
again.
not doing a radio show here? You guys look like you're at a Taylor Swift concert.
Get the chalk out.
Okay.
Guys, I got to be honest. If I didn't know what was in there, I might want to eat that. If it was just lime Jello, and I'd be down for a slice of that.
You know who it reminds me of? Of that Slimer ghost in Ghostbusters.
Yes.
It looks exactly like, remember he would eat a hot dog and it would stay in him?
Yeah.
It's amazingly, it looks exactly like him.
It looks like frozen Ecto Cooler.
Oh, God. It's not going to taste like that.
Do you see the loose olives falling off on the side? That's super
No, I just see
the
shreds of tuna chilling in the top section.
Okay.
This is green Jello flecked with tuna.
All right. I can only ask this one small favor. And this is the only thing I will ask for before I dip into this and eat 7 bites of this awful, awful, awful thing.
Remember me nicely.
That say nice things about me.
Yeah.
If you are in our YouTube chat, if you would be so kind as to hit subscribe. When I tell you this is the smallest thing and the only thing that we'll ask for, this is the one thing to make this not all for nothing. So if you are watching on YouTube, if you're watching in Twitch, please hit subscribe. We would be so thankful, and it helps us do this kind of silly stuff without getting in major trouble. So please, I beg of you.
Maggie, I think the time is running out. This thing is about to become alive.
All right.
And,
oh, God.
and
Ugh.
It's gonna walk
wait,
around
so
the
7
newsroom.
bites.
All right. Bogus, you're doing play-by-play on
In
this.
the
So I'm gonna-
hallowed grounds of this studio where we have eaten spicy things, sour things, large quantity of things, this might be as gross as it gets as Maggie's first spoonful breaks the Jello surface. There's tuna falling out. She digs an olive out of the bottom. This is mostly olive, some shreds of tuna and Jello, and I guess there's mayonnaise in there.
Yeah, I think she has the mayo section of the Jello because it's a different shade.
Maggie is pre-sick. This is before the first one.
Oh my gosh!
You have nothing to drink right now?
Wait.
I have water.
Okay.
I have water.
Is Maggie sweating?
I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
Once. How about seven times?
Wait. I'm starting to feel a little bad about this. Bogus, should we give her a break?
Well, I mean, she's got to do one.
All right, give me a countdown, like a 3, 2, 1 or something.
3, 2, 1. Trembling hand is in. There's eating, and there's immediately into the garbage. There is no. Oh no, that was the quickest reversal of fortune. Is that what it's called in the eating world? She has come back to the table.
Does that count?
I'm not going to be able to do this.
Does that count?
I mean, judging by her physical reaction, it counts.
Oh my God. This is. Oh my God.
Ken is behind
All
you,
right.
Maggie.
I got to leave the studio.
Let
Is that
me try.
allowed?
Pull your
No,
leg
don't
closer
do
to the
it.
garbage.
I mean,
Again?
I gotta try.
How could you
I
do
gotta
this
try to
stuff?
do this.
This is the toughest thing I've ever seen. This is the toughest thing I've ever seen, and it's not
This is
going
ridiculous.
well.
I can't put it down.
You can't.
I can't swallow it. There's something. This is the most disgusting. Okay, let me try it again.
Why?
I'm gonna
Number
try because I'm trying to pay off the bet
Yeah, we need-
and not
this-
be
we're
like
at number
a
3 now.
loser. And I just can't choke this stuff down. All right, let me try. The tuna fish smells so bad, and it's very limey. Okay, you can do this. You can do this. Just do it.
Oh, this one has state. Wait, can she?
Okay, I swallowed it. I swallowed it.
She did one. The
Wait, you're
third.
trying.
Okay.
I can see.
Okay, I just swallowed it.
The third attempt
Okay.
is completed, and you're going back in now?
Well, I gotta do 7.
Do the top with
This
the
is number
tuna.
4.
No, I am doing the
tears
top
now
of the
of
tuna.
this.
No, you're. Yeah.
I can't. I don't want to watch anymore.
Oh my God, this is so awful. Oh my God.
I mean, I'm okay with this. I'm not in charge, but I don't like watching this.
All right, that's 4.
I liked Perloff losing all dignity in a face
Yeah.
full of chili.
This is surprisingly unpleasant.
This is so bad. I
Imagine
hate
eating
everybody. Please, if you're in the chat, please hit subscribe. This is the only thing that will make it worth it.
Find a friend and have them subscribe as well. The intestinal fortitude, literally, to survive this.
Give a friend a hug.
Oh my God.
Is this 5?
That was
This is
5.
5.
That was 5.
You know, she hates bad textures too, Bogus.
Yeah.
This is the worst texture.
This is like a hockey player finishing the Stanley Cup Finals on a broken ankle. Who said his ankle fell apart? Jacob Trouba? This is
by the
Jacob
way,
Trouba.
Why is your hand shaking like that?
Because it's so gross. There's some physical reaction that's happening in my body right now, which is not okay.
And I feel like I'm catching it.
Yeah. What are we at?
That's 6.
One
And
more,
she's now
Mag. You can do
grabbing at her
this.
head.
You could do
Both
this thing.
hands are trembling.
You can do this thing.
Fight through the pain.
This is my dignity leaving my body. I don't want to actually drink anything out of my water bottle because I'm afraid some of the
taint
taste
it?
is going to get left on my water bottle. I'm just going to have to throw that away. Okay, this is the last one. I can't.
There's no tuna in that bite.
I-
No. You got to get your last one. You have to get tuna. No.
Okay.
I'm preparing your last
Have you
one.
eaten have you eaten an
Oh
olive
my
yet?
gosh, I hate you.
The first one had an olive.
She spit that out.
Oh my God! Look at
Listen, guys.
No, I'm not eating all that. I'll eat half of that. That's too big of a spoonful.
This is your last bite. You lost the bet. You have to eat this.
I'm not eating all of
You
that.
see the tuna chunks that are flying out of here? I don't know if you can see that.
Half of that.
Hey, the guy who said he'd do something crazy if the Sixers didn't take Dalton Knecht, and they did. Why don't
Okay.
you take that?
I'll eat that. I'll eat that.
There you go. I
Okay.
cut it in half.
We all believe that this will be the last bite, and this will be considered the bet paid off.
Fair.
There's a lot of bottom layer in this one, which is the densest part of this concoction.
Yeah, no, I feel like you avoided the tuna a little bit.
I
and
did
now
not.
you're
I
about to pay the
promise you,
price.
I did not.
Look at her. She didn't miss anything.
How's the Jello?
All right,
Last one.
this is it.
Deep breath.
Bet is paid after I eat this. Please, if you're in the chat, hit subscribe. YouTube.com/InfinitySportsNet.
We've switched hands right hand entry. Oh, that was a big one.
That was a big bite.
That's a big bite. Maggie,
Her eyes
once
are closed.
again, face in her
Oh
hands.
my gosh, she's chewing it.
She is chewing it.
This is actually, I think you
It's
had to do a
almost
little
gone.
more chewing on this one.
Oh, that was bad. That one was bad. I don't like
Is
this
it down,
one.
Bogus? What's the ruling?
All right. Yeah, she's clear. She's my
clear.
hero. Oh my
Bills make me wanna kick your heels and
All right, let's try this bad boy.
I love
And
their
Perloff
looks
is
so
now
bad.
with a huge hunk. Oh,
I told you. It's awful. It's I told you it was awful.
I
You
thought
didn't
you were being
believe
a
me. You thought I was being a wimp. This was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen, tasted. Ugh. Ugh.
I feel like I just ate someone else's throw up. How did you do 7 bites?
You were so proud
I'm a warrior. Ugh, I'm not. Ugh, that was so gross.
Childbirth or this? Which would you prefer?
I was out for that. I didn't feel a thing. This is horrible. Ugh, and it smells, and now my mouth tastes like tuna fish. It's so gross.
I'm going to have to leave for a second.
So wait, you were yelling at her for leaving out tuna, and now you're leaving the room bent over? Typical
so
Philadelphia.
Perloff has left the building.
All right. We've
After
got to
one
get
bite.
this thing out of the studio.
I don't know what you just did.
I just lost all my dignity on
I don't
live
know.
radio.
In fact, I think you've added to your dignity. Now, you might not like and after the fact, might not like watching yourself eat this, but the fact that you ate that 7-ish times, I don't know what the sports comparison is.
Can I tell you what the worst part was? That I had a taste of what you did. It's how sweet the Jello is and how savory the tuna fish is.
Just having PTSD
Don't
already.
talk about it.
How did you not throw up? I almost just threw up.
It's
I
not
was
done
running
yet.
to the bathroom.
This is the most disgusting thing I've ever done in my entire life. And let alone eaten.
This
just
might be the food,
done, period.
This might have to be our last food bet because there's no grosser food bet.
This will not be topped.
Hot Ones has nothing on this where they eat the hot wings.
Please.
That's easy.
I'd Conan O'Brien rub that hot sauce in my eyes rather than do this again. No way. This was, I feel like this might have to end all of our food bets forever.
Oh my gosh, you could see the pockets of mayonnaise. Did you grab
I'm
any of
throwing
those?
out this spoon. I don't even want to take this home with me.
You're
just
still shaking too, by the way.
Yeah, I just threw out a silver spoon, like a sterling silver spoon.
Try a bite. It's so much worse than you think.
No,
Come on,
I've
jump
done
in there.
nothing wrong. I'm not
Jump
an
in
idiot.
there.
I just watched Maggie turn
in there.
inside out. I am not having anything.
It's awful, and now it's melting.
Where did we go wrong creating this? Like,
Is it
it
melting
doesn't
as
feel like
Jello?
this was what was on the internet.
Ugh, it's melting somehow, EJ. It definitely is.
I mean, in Ludafisk's defense, we did not follow the traditional recipe, but God forbid people that actually eat this and enjoy it.
I
they
gotta
need
be
to
honest.
checked out.
My hands now smell
You know
like
what?
my hair. This is just so bad.
You know what surprised me on my half a bite there? I'm curious. Like the lime Jello was actually super gross too.
Yes, well, you guys know I don't like textures like this.
Yeah.
You make fun of me, but I don't like Jello, creme brulees, tiramisus. These are not my thing.
So what are you? You're not going to be able to eat Jello after this ever again, probably. Is tuna out? Are we done with
Yes.
tuna?
Tuna fish is
Tuna's
out forever. I don't think I gotta have sushi anymore.
Olives are still okay, right?
Nope, olives also gone.
Out.
Yep.
Out. So none of these foods will ever be
Mayo.
consumed by
Mayo
you in
making
any
it back
form
in?
whatsoever. Ever again.
No, I'm out on mayo now too.
Anything in a bun
Yeah,
cake?
mayo.
All bun cakes are now off just because of the
Mayo's
shape. By the way, that's not my tin. I got to make sure I get that back to somebody.
Oh, really?
They said no thanks.
We need
Well, thank you everybody. For tuning in for this. Again, if you are watching on YouTube or on Twitch, if you could just hit subscribe, we'd be so grateful. This will all not be
By
for
the way,
nothing.
the chat
I
is
gotta tell you,
very,
America,
very appreciative.
we are
of
not even
Maggie's
doing
efforts
justice
here.
to how gross this is. If you didn't see it visually,
Yeah.
it is so bad. It's the worst food product I've ever seen in my entire life.
The extreme close up where you can see the tuna fighting its way through the Jello, like fighting for daylight at the top of this
It's
thing.
trying to
It's
escape.
heinous. Yeah, the tuna knows how gross the rest of it is, and it's trying to get out.
The other question is, why is it so much darker on the bottom, which is now the top, than the top?
That's
it's
what I'm trying to figure out.
It's two different colors of green.
Well, is that where the mayo is? Like oil and water not mixing? Is
Yes.
the oil and the mayo make it not
Oh,
mix
maybe.
into the liquid? I mean, it is disgusting.
We gotta put that out in the general common area. And see if anyone eats it.
Like when there's leftover cupcakes for someone's birthday.
Some sales guy will eat it.
The fact that Perloff ate it, I'm actually glad you ate it
I thought I was
because
going to be able to swallow it.
you thought I was milking this, like doing it as a bit. It is not. This is disgusting.
No, I didn't think that at all. I just thought that you have very low tolerance for this kind of food. I have no problem with gelatinous products. I have no problem with tuna fish. I have no problem with Jello. It's the combination makes all of these things so much worse. I can't. It was the sweetness of the lime Jello compared with the mayonnaise and tuna that just did it.
And you have to chew the tuna fish.
Oh, the last bite you were chewing.
I was chewing. I still have some in my. This is gross. I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry you had to do that.
Well, I lost, so now I've paid off the bet. All bets are paid.
But it makes me nervous because, like, what's the next bet? What can we possibly do? I mean, it feels like shaving an eyebrow. Yeah. It was off the table. Now it's got to be back on the table. Because I can't think of anything worse.
I'll get a Pete tattoo on my shoulder blade.
Yeah. Face tattoo or shave eyebrow.
Last time I bet on the Nuggets.
We should say that's a ice cream and give it to Schwartz.
Someone did ask would he take it home to his family.
I think Peter would try it.
I think he would too.
I think he would.
That being said, right, all this is Peter Schwartz would definitely eat this. He will eat this for lunch.
You asked me before if I would rather give Peter Schwartz a foot massage or eat this, and I was like, oh, I'd rather eat this. That was wrong. I would have rather given Schwartz a foot massage. Delta 9 also calling this hawk tuna.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
If Boomer signs it, will Peter take it home?
League MVP.
By the way, that was bad. It's still 50 times better than a Peter Schwartz foot massage.
I don't think so.
That should be the poll, by the way.
I don't think so. The 14 and a half wides, bring them on. I wish I could have a redo.
You have to put moisture lotion on your hands and then rub moisture lotion on Peter Schwartz's feet.
Put a hazmat suit on.
Honestly, look at what we just ate. This is so gross. So gross.
And Peter has to lightly moan while you're rubbing.
In ecstasy.
I'd rather take that through a straw. No.
How do we dispose of this? Honestly,
we're wrapping everything up and just put it in the garbage.
No, we can't put it in the garbage. You can't just sit there in the garbage all day. No, we gotta go to the street.
No, here's the thing. It's spread out over like 6 different plates with the plastic. Like this all has to get burned.
It can't sit in the garbage in the office. Like
we'll give it to Yusef and we'll tell him, hey, can we dispose of this immediately?
We're gonna put this on him?
No, we'll wrap it up. It's just he just has to literally throw the bag down the chute or whatever they do to get rid of the garbage.
It'll be taken out of our space quickly today. This is about the time when they start making the rounds.
I can just see the later shows being like, what is that smell?
No.
The later shows. How about this show?
Oh, yeah.
We can't have this sitting around in here just for us.
I don't know how the refrigerator smells totally fine. It's weird. This is like a weird science experiment. It feels like a 3rd grade science fair that I thought I would have got a really good grade on. And my teacher would have been like, what the hell is this?
There's about 17 pounds of baking soda in that fridge, though. So.
I mean, I don't smell it still. I don't smell anything.
It's like in my nose now.
I think once you guys have eaten it.
It's like in it.
Oh, they unleash the smell.
Yeah, because I think when I brought it out, I didn't think I smelled much either. But there was also like
do my fingers
tons
smell?
of plastic out there.
I don't know. I don't want to know.
I think they do. Yeah.
I'm mesmerized. I'm watching it jiggle.
Catholic, can we get it up close on that? Might be hard.
It might be. This thing could come to life. It's gonna say, "Feed me, Maggie. Feed me. Need more meat."
Have to get the Ghostbusters in there.
Yeah. This is the beginning of a horror film.
Yeah. Tomorrow on Maggie
I think it's the end.
Slimer.
Yes. The movie The Blob basically started out as a radio show
radio
that
bit
gone wrong.
Somebody pulled them into the sink.
Stupidly bet the Nuggets.
Are you going to eat chicken nuggets after this?
Even eat chicken nuggets?
Yeah, I mean, the nuggets are what screwed you over.
Oh my gosh, Perloff,
It
no.
is falling apart.
You know, when you break it apart, it looks like a giant worm or a slug.
It's
a slug.
And the side view is terrible. You can look in and see the tuna just.
That was crazy.
Put that in the newsroom, please.
Don't get that away from me. Post-liposuction.
I'll bring some over to the other side of the glass.
Amanda's blockading the door so you can't get in.
No chance. You stay out of here. I'll throw your face.
It's Perloff versus Amanda.
And Amanda's winning.
Amanda's winning. She's got the low. She's got the low angle.
Low man
Low
wins.
man
Go
wins.
see if
Yeah.
Schwartz will eat some of that.
You just turned into Jason Kelsey. Nice job.
I can't believe she blocked me. I was going to put it in Belani's face.
You're like a full-grown man. Amanda's like our early 20s former
we
intern.
should take this opportunity to go up to the 11th floor where upper management is and be like, hey, we just made some nice July 4th food. Would you guys like a bite? Just to see, and they're all so polite up there just to see what they'd say.
You make it seem like they didn't know this was happening. They are monitoring this very, very closely to make sure I don't die.
Like CEO types. Like, we haven't met. I know you run this whole company, but we made a nice July 4th dish. We thought you might like some.
We're having a potluck. Blah. Yes. Jello in the face. EJ's basement spider says. No. YouTube.com/InfinitySportsNet, Twitch.tv/InfinitySportsNetwork, and on X right now. So thank you. And if you did tune in for this, if you would be so kind as to subscribe, it makes this a little bit more palatable
and also
for what we do.
Go eat an egg, bacon, cheese sandwich for all of us.
I was thinking about that. I'm like, should I get breakfast?
Yeah, you got to eat the best food possible.
Right, go get a steak. I know it's
you know it's 8:30 in the morning at East Coast time. Here's the thing about this. I could go get like the world's best bacon, egg, and cheese or like the most delicious bagel or something like that. You guys don't understand. I have the memory now. And I have the sensory memory of for the rest of my life, I'm going to be able to pinpoint the exact feeling and taste of what that was like. And so I could eat filet mignon for the rest of my life, Pete.
Might want to take a leave of absence there.
Yeah, who's hosting tomorrow with Perloff?
Don't you? If any of this happened, it usually happens when people get sick off of alcohol, right? Like if you get sick off of vodka, you can't drink vodka again, or Jägermeister or something. That's this for me. I'll be able to conjure this now anytime. That's how bad it was.
The jiggle on that thing is crazy. It's
no,
like,
I still say the side view, looking into it. It's like looking into hell.
Yeah, it is. Perfect play-by-play.
Yeah,
I stared down hell and ate hell.
7 times.
Seven rungs of hell. What is it? 7
layers?
7 layers, whatever.
Oh, he's taken from the middle now.
That's the olive.
Please don't eat that.
That's the uncured part.
Bite bogus.
Oh, yeah, this sounds great.
All right. I just realized the time. We've got to take a quick commercial break on this one. Back on the other side with plenty more of the Jello. We're going to try to clean this up. And also the draft last night. Sure.
Yeah,
why not?
Too.
Brandon Aiyuk, they had a meeting. The 49ers.
We're going to interview the Jello
went
after the break.
The Jello speaks next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Dismay. No NBA on NBC. What a shame. Just JJ Redick's wine ain't the same. Peter Bellotti is getting upset. Maggie Perloff, can you hear his plea? Bring back the NBA on NBC. Set his spirit free. He misses Ma. Co-stars and the crew, those were the days. Pete cries out, boo, boo. Bring it back, or can't you see? Bring back the NBA on NBC. Let it be. Pete's mad, he's feeling sad. Bring it back, oh, make it right.
Maggie's got some giant feet, they're the talk of the town. When she walks the sidewalk cracks, she's bringing buildings down. She tried to buy some shoes, but they said no way. Now she's wearing boat sails just to get through the day. Maggie's giant feet, they're a real big deal. Stepping on poles, creating legs for real. Maggie's giant feet, they make a mighty thud. But Maggie just laughs, hey, it's all in good fun. She went to a dance, cleared out the floor. Her feet made the music, folks yelled for more. At the beach she's a hit, making giant sand castles. Her footprint's so big,
15 seconds.
They're like dinosaur battles.
Break ends in 5 seconds.
Two words. Bet paid. I'm done. I did it. I ate the lime, Jello, tuna, olive thing. It's over.
Yeah.
I did 7 bites.
Maggie, you're already being praised. The Boomer and Gio show on WFAN, CBS Sports Network, saying you are tough as nails. You are.
That's all how it
warrior.
Starts. I don't know how it ends.
Hashtag warrior, Maggie Gray. Honestly, new respect. This is like when Ronnie Lott cut off his pinky finger to play in the playoff game. This is right up there with that. You got 7 bites in. Yeah. Amazing. I got none.
It was worse. I'm so glad you actually took a bite because I think you thought I was maybe going over the top with it or I was being a little like overly dramatic. It was that bad.
I thought you were overly sensitive to jiggly food, to be honest. I thought that you just can't stand, you hate flan.
Yeah,
so this is like flan's worst nightmare. The flavor completely shocked me. I had no idea. It was a combination of the tartness and sweetness and tuna fishness.
And mayonnaise-ness. The mayonnaise with lime Jello, it was all bad.
I want to ask you guys, what was the worst
and the savory
part?
That was so nasty.
The worst part was actually getting a chunk of tuna fish salad in the Jello and then having to chew through that. Because the thing is, with Jello, you can just sort of shoot it back a little bit and just sort of go
like a vodka shot.
Kinda. Or a Jello shot, quite frankly.
Jello shot, not a vodka shot.
But then you get left over with the chunks of tuna, and now you're just eating tuna fish, but you still have the residue of this very fake lime taste. AJ,
I can't unsee what I just saw.
I know. I'll never be able to untaste it. I just put like 10 Altoids in my mouth, and I don't know if it's.
I feel like John Starks. Did this girl just did this?
I mean, this is not my thing, but I feel like heavy consumption of alcohol might be in line right now. Like heavy.
I wish I could have done
Or
that
drugs.
before. I wish. I'll take anything you got.
Yeah, honestly, you should have taken some form of drugs before. I mean, maybe the highest high, that would not look good.
No, I could have been railing lines that there's nothing that was going to make this any better.
Yeah.
So there you go. If you're in the YouTube channel, youtube.com/InfinitySportsNet, twitch.tv/InfinitySportsNetwork. I know this is a small thing, but it really does go a long way. If you are in here for the first time or if you're new, if you could hit subscribe, it really does help us do these silly things. Peter Schwartz is here with headlines. Are you traumatized as well, sir?
I wasn't even in here when you ate it, but when I came in and saw it on the table, I almost turned around and walked out. But you warrior is a good word. That's a good word for
Tough
Maggie.
as nails.
Tough as nails.
Well, I'm also dumb as hell because I bet the Nuggets, and that's why I got myself into this whole thing.
Maggie's already displayed a lot of toughness through the years, but this, honestly, this was next level. I mean, I've never doubted your toughness. You're definitely the toughest person in this room, and that's not a huge accomplishment. But now it's like, now I'm a little intimidated. Like, if it's something scary, I'm like, well, Maggie's there.
And I appreciate the offer of me tasting it, but there's no way that was happening.
Fair enough.
No
what else
way.
is going on in the world today?
First overall pick in the NBA draft last night, the Hawks taking forward Zachary Richardson from France.
I like kind of Klay Thompson. I like the way he play, and I think we got a same game. He's obviously a better shooter than me, but I think with hard working, I can improve this style of my game and improve a lot more.
Now, was that Richardson or was that Maggie after what she just ate?
Who did he like? Who is
Klay Thompson?
Klay Thompson.
Richardson thinks he's Klay Thompson?
Yeah.
You can shoot, not like him though.
Zachary Richard.
Is he
tall?
Richardson?
He's tall. He's about 6'10". Actually, when he said that, I thought maybe Michael Porter made a little more sense.
Can he play defense like Klay in his prime?
He can defend.
Okay.
That's one of his strengths.
Yeah, but if you're 6'10", how are you going to keep? You're going to defend a 2? Some of the 2s are 6'3". I don't see that happening. Porter doesn't have to defend 2s.
No, but I'm saying I think he's 6'10", Porter 6'10", so I felt like if you're going to go to the Klay Thompson route, then you'd say, well, go for a taller shooter. That would be the thing I would do.
Well, good luck to him.
There was the other guy. Did you see the other French guy who was talking about Kyle Kuzma? He said, bring on Kuzma. I'm like, that's what you want to hear from an NBA draft guy. I'm not afraid of LeBron or Kyle Kuzma. Bring your best, America. I got you.
It was a 1-2 French punch at the top of the draft as the Raptors at number 2 took French forward Alex Sarr, and the Rockets had the number 3 pick.
With the 3rd pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Houston Rockets select Reed Shepherd from the University of Kentucky.
That was NBA Commissioner Adam Silver with the announcement on ESPN. Also last night, Purdue's Zach Edey went to the Grizzlies at number 9. Other NBA news, the Knicks reportedly will re-sign free agent forward OG Anunoby to a 5-year, $212.5 million deal.
Now that was being celebrated.
Yes.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, Cat's going to go up, though.
Okay.
That's part of it.
But here's the one thing. I think the Knicks are doing the right thing. I'll be honest. I do. I think you're betting on chemistry. You're betting on depth. And I think this team showed last year that they earned the right to kind of stay together and that the front office had to have confidence. However, I will say, 5 first-round draft picks for Mikal Bridges, never been an all-star, is steep. And $212. So he's going to make more than Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
For a starter and a very important piece. But still, he's not... he's not your second best player. It's got to be Brunson and Randall, right?
Let me ask a question.
Yeah.
Who are the starting 5 on the court at the end of a game? I still don't understand this.
Well, I mean, and that's a good problem to have because they have a lot of good players. I mean, you can go. Brunson's going to be out there for sure, and OG's going to be out there for sure.
Right.
Everything else is
Mikal Bridges has to be a for sure.
Bridges, you would think most of the time will be out there.
You just gave 5 first-round picks.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, it's a deep team, right? Like you're talking about just playing the best players possible. So there are gonna be games like Josh Hart. We know how reliable he is. I don't think he's gonna be in the starting lineup, but will he be closing some games? Sure.
Just like DiVincenzo was
right.
last year, right?
So will be games where Randall plays the 5 and you don't have a 5-man out there. Mitchell Robinson's on the bench, or whoever's starting and sending it off the bench. Yeah. I mean, I think that you're not gonna be looking necessarily at one closing lineup.
Yeah.
But remember, when you talk about the money you're spending on OG, remember you saved money on the Randall deal. Mm-hmm. It sounds like this Brunson deal may be a massive saver.
I mean, if he really basically signs an early contract extension where if he just waited, he would get $100 million more. So you're looking at like 178 or something over what would be 278. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, like, yes, they're maybe overpaying on OG, but you got sweet deals other places. So in some ways, it's like you're going to have to pay up at some point. And this is their all-in move.
Well, and that's interesting because the all-in move you kind of thought the Knicks would do would be like waiting around for Giannis to get disgruntled or Zion if he actually panned out or something like that.
Anthony Davis, maybe. Like
that's not happening. And instead they're going with the chemistry move, which, you know.
A lot of role players. That's what it seems like to me. A lot of high-end role players.
Well, Brunson's got to be an MVP candidate still.
Is the superstar, though.
Yeah, Brunson and Randall is a bit of a star, too. So,
yeah.
But then you're paying a ton, and you gave 5 first-round picks for a role player. That is unprecedented.
But is the 5 first-round picks really a big deal when you've got a team that right now you're building a championship team? Are any of these draft picks going to be anything good, and are they going to add any pieces to the puzzle with any of these draft picks?
It's not about those actual draft picks. It's that when Giannis becomes available, you need those draft picks to trade for Giannis. Yeah. So I think, and EJ brought a good point. They could definitely get some of those back at some point.
Yeah. Did you see what the Knicks did with their first-round pick? They had 2 first-round picks last night, 24 and 25, right? So they traded 24 for what? 4 second-round picks?
They went 24 to 26. Then they moved down. They moved back a couple.
Yeah, 26 where they traded for 5 second-round picks from Sam Presti.
5 second-round picks. These are such bizarre deals.
Sam, the Thunder and the Knicks making a draft day trade, you just knew that was going to be bizarre, right? Those teams do weird stuff with picks. So, yes, 1 first-round pick being equal 5 second-round picks was like, yeah, of course. These are 2 draft sickos. It makes perfect sense that they would do something weird like this.
What else we got, Peter?
NFL, Kelly Stafford, the wife of Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford, she appeared on the Off the Vine podcast, and she talked about how she dated one of Stafford's teammates at the University of Georgia to make him upset. And here's what she said, quote, "At first I hated him. I loved him. I dated the backup to piss him off, which worked." She then took to social media yesterday because a lot of people thought she was referring to then backup quarterback Joe Cox, but she took to social media to apologize to him and his family for the fallout that she had created. So I was probably a little bit too much of detail that she shared on that podcast about their relationship.
Okay, couple questions here. Number one, was it the third string guy? Like, do we know, have we identified who this person is?
I don't know if people have done that research at this point, but I assume it's a third string or a walk-on, maybe, who knows?
I mean, here's the thing about Kelly. Mess around and find out. Like, this is what happens when you share this much. Like, if she wants to do it and it's their relationship, fine. Mm-hmm. But to think that no one else is going to be affected by the story you tell, and then it turns out that people immediately thought it was Joe Cox, as you said.
Right.
Who married a Georgia cheerleader and has been married to her for a long time. They've got this beautiful family. Mm-hmm. And so now they are caught up in this terrible thing. It's like, Kelly, did you not realize that your actions have consequences that may be unintended when you spill this type of tea? And you don't put someone's name on it. And you leave the public to sort of just fill in the gaps.
You have to kind of think before you say something like that because you don't know who you're going to affect. And obviously now she had to apologize and you're still going to probably have people think that maybe she's now lying in her apology that maybe it was.
Cover it up. Or just to backtrack it and try to clean up the mess.
Kelly Stafford has to be stopped. This is getting insane. We had the whole Detroit Lions thing about they're booing my kid, and then it sounds like maybe they weren't booing her kid. She's trying to take the Lions' thunder after they won, and then now this thing, like, enough. It's getting a little ridiculous with Kelly Stafford. I feel like who we think Brittany Mahomes is who Kelly Stafford actually is, right? Like, making these weird statements, always making stuff about herself.
Well, she's allowed to tell her truth. The problem is you've got to understand that when you put something out there like this, people are going to dig. And then somebody who might get wrapped up in it who you didn't expect to get wrapped up. This is like got to be lesson learned here.
This is like lesson number 3 with her, though. That's my thing is that, like, yes, you can tell your story, but there's responsibilities whenever you pick up a microphone or whenever you fire off a tweet. And she acts so recklessly with how she speaks, how she tweets, and then she has to come out and make apologies to random family. I mean, this guy's got, like, young children. I know. That beautiful picture with.
She put a picture of them. It was like,
like, why are you even doing that?
Don't do that.
Matthew's got to tell her to just shut up. I mean,
but that's the thing. Enough. It's like it's their husband and wife. We have their dynamic is their dynamic. Like, I don't think there's a lot of men out there who can tell their wives to shut up.
Yeah.
Even Matthew Stafford or otherwise.
I wanted to close with this because Perloff challenged me on something earlier this morning. So in soccer yesterday, Georgia upset Portugal 2-0 at Euro 2024. It's the biggest upset by FIFA rankings in Euro Championship history. You wanted me to try to pronounce the star player who scored an early goal in the game to get things going. So let's give this a little shot here. Kvicha Kvaratskhelia.
Well, it's your word against nobody's. Can we get the actual call next hour to see if you're anywhere close?
That's a great idea.
I was looking for it. I couldn't find it anywhere, so we'll have to try and
I saw a highlight of it.
You saw a highlight of it?
Yeah.
I'll have to go back on X and look for it. Kvicha Kvaratskhelia.
I have a friend who's Georgian. The depth of this upset is like...
How'd they pull this off?
I have no idea what's going on. And Cristiano Ronaldo was playing, right?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, this is insane. But anyway.
The other guy who scored is Georgios Mikatadze.
Yeah, and who also was the number 16 pick by the Hornets.
It was like doing a Deion Sanders
who
kind of thing.
Who gave up 5 second-round picks for that selection.
Yeah.
He's doing both. This is two sports star. Peter, thank you so much. 855-212-4227. If you are watching our show, we have cleaned up the lime Jello tuna fish. We will have some videos of that, though, ready to go very, very soon if you missed any of it. Coming up, we check in on the Dallas Cowboys. We have a little news about their starting quarterback, Dak Prescott.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Part of this has now been cleaned up. The lime jello, tuna fish, olive thing that I ate that you also took a bite of.
Yeah, I thought I was going to show you up and make you look bad by just eating it like it was no big thing. Nope. Couldn't get a single bite down in a million years. I could not. I can't believe you did that.
The first bite, you can watch now, is up on social media. My first bite, and I can't even swallow it. I have to immediately spit it out and like puke in the garbage.
Like 2 or 3.
It took like 2 times to get used to what this was actually just going to feel like, and then taste like, and then choke it down. But I did basically do 7 bites, 1 for every game the series went.
I cannot believe that. In the last one, I gave you a tuna rich bite.
Oh.
Now, I proposed 12 because it ended up being a double or nothing. You lost the second one in 5. Could you have done 12, you think?
No.
Really? You're tough. You showed a lot more toughness than even I expected.
Thank you. I'm glad I was turning heads today, surprising people. No, I had to dig down deep just to even actually get a bite down.
About a week ago, all of us were like, oh, we'll just try a bite. What could be bad? We like lime jello. We like tuna. Nobody even got near a spoon. Not EJ was talking tough. You didn't even consider it, did you?
No, I thought Maggie would actually end up liking it. I said that yesterday. I could not have been more wrong. What I didn't understand still was like how it was, again, the seafoam green on the bottom, but then like a Jacksonville Jaguar green on the top. Like it was kind of like that layered thing that we were talking about, but in the worst way possible. I don't know how that happened.
I was a little upset because I saw this couple on the internet. One had A1 sauce spread throughout it, which would have been super nasty. Another had cottage cheese mixed in.
Oh.
I saw the cottage cheese.
The cottage cheese tuna Jello combination would have been just terrible.
Got Mike in the chat said I had to throw my breakfast away watching. I'm sorry. I get
fair.
it.
We should get billed for that probably. Cottage cheese, I'm assuming you're not a fan of in general.
Not really. No. That feels like a food from like the 1800s, like before we had access to better foods. It's like, here, we came up with this. Like, we've evolved, I think, past cottage cheese. Anyway, let's get to the Cowboys quickly because I don't know if you guys saw this story, kind of quick one, but Dak Prescott had been being sued in civil court for some pretty bad allegations, some sexual assault stuff, and the woman was looking for like $100 million. It became a pretty big story. Those charges were dropped yesterday. Now I know the charges.
The police dropped the charges in May.
In May, the case, the civil case, has been dropped. Thank you.
The judge and not the accuser. The judge dropped the case, right?
Everything, is like is basically done now with that entire story. So we never thought that was necessarily an impediment to the Cowboys signing him to a contract, but it was kind of out there. You're wondering, are they kind of waiting until this thing either resolves one way or another before they hand Dak all this money? Perloff, now that this part of it, that civil case, does appear to be done with, do you think now the runway is clear for the contract, or do you think it never really had an impact?
Well, they never mentioned, the team has talked a lot about Dak. Jerry and Steven both mentioned Dak in numerous interviews. That issue has never come up once. I tend to believe that this is not, because, I mean, it could be wrong. I don't think this is what's happening. I think they are really considering life after Dak. I think that's a bigger factor. Like, I think they want to play it out and see where they are.
I know that the Cowboys and Jerry came out and said, we're waiting for more leaves to fall, and they're always, want to be a little bit behind the curve as opposed to in front of the curve on paying guys. Not always, but especially for quarterbacks and especially for Dak Prescott. I just wonder if this is just the strategy. Like, are they just showing you? Is there really not more to the story about this, right? Is it just as obvious as it seems, which is they're going into a contract year with Dak and with Mike McCarthy, and they want to see how it goes, and they'll be willing to just completely pivot away from both of these guys if the season comes up as a disappointment.
Well, yeah, but there's another layer of the story because they're waiting on Micah. They're going slow on CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons, too. And the CeeDee Lamb contract in particular seems like it's gotten more expensive. So there's a lot of critics who say the Cowboys are just way too late on all these deals and are falling into this pattern where they can't sort of pull the trigger and do these deals, and it's killing them.
Oh, I get it. And that seems as obvious as day. So is there, they have to know this. They can't be that naive to think somehow the prices don't go in reverse. I'm wondering for CeeDee Lamb, I don't know what would change, but you're not a big fan of paying wide receivers.
No, honestly, I can't believe. I think everybody forgot what happened. The Cowboys got blown out by the Packers, and I was defending Dak, and everyone's like, "It's time to move on." There was millions, and we had our friend RJ Ochoa who covers the Cowboys on. He's like, "There are a lot of people who want to move on." Now people have sort of forgotten that. I get it. I don't think it's because of this case. So I mean, the Cowboys had to know some of the details of this case before. It can't be now that they decide, this is clear. I mean, maybe I'm naive, but I don't think this is going to be what's going to move it ahead.
No, take that away. Is there any kind of method to the madness here with the Cowboys with holding off on paying Dak and CeeDee Lamb? And I think it's just the obvious one with Dak is they just want to play the season out, again, with him and McCarthy and then see where it goes. Okay, coming up, we've got the biggest thing you may have missed from last night's NBA draft.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Once again, Lakers in the spotlight. Hey, welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. A lot going on today. We're reacting to the first round of the NBA draft. We are also reacting to me paying off my bet today of eating the lime jello tuna fish olive mold. Blah.
Oh, that word mold makes it worse somehow.
It was, I think it delivered, to be honest. It was the worst eating challenge we've ever done. It makes Perloff eating Skyline chili with no hands seem
Easy.
Quaint.
Actually, well, I was actually very excited for that.
Yeah, just had to put your face in it. But still, I'd do that 100 times out of 100 before having to eat this lime jello thing. We're putting these up on our social media if you missed them, at Maggie and Pearl on X, on YouTube, and on Instagram. Oh, boy. Okay, so the Lakers, they get some fortune, Perloff, because Dalton Knecht from Tennessee was, despite being 23 years old, which is a little old for NBA draft picks, was really one of the prizes people thought of this draft. And he was falling and falling and falling. And at 17, the Lakers were there to scoop him up.
Well, I mean, he was kind of 10 to 12 range. I don't think anyone had him top 5. There were some people who thought that maybe someone in the top 5 stuck on him. He's not just a little old for NBA draft terms. He is extremely old. That is the issue. Yeah. And all the no 23-year-old I think has ever panned out. Like I don't even know if anyone's ever gotten a second contract in the last 20 years. So the odds are he could start out fine, that he's not going to be a great player. That's what they said. But I couldn't believe my Sixers sat at 16. I'm like, because Dalton Knecht and Zach Edey are the only two I watched really consistently last year, because Dalton Knecht was on TV. Everyone's like, you got to watch this guy. He's unbelievable.
Yep.
Scoring machine in Tennessee. He is unbelievably explosive. Like I still don't get it.
Yep.
I don't get it. He gets up so fast and he can shoot. I guess he can't play any defense. That was my theme from last night. Every description was, well, this guy has not learned how to shoot yet, but he's got long arms and can play defense. As if that's all you need to do and win the NBA is have 3 perimeter guys. Because everyone said the Celtics, look, they have all these perimeter defenders, but those perimeter defenders are also awesome at offense. So I wonder, some of these teams have geared up on defense. I'm looking at EJ's Knicks. Like, you also need to score the ball.
Well, yeah, I think you had 3 themes last night. One was guys who can defend and can't shoot, guys who shoot who can't defend. So you had both of those.
Well, oh, really? I didn't see many shooters.
Well, Dalton Knecht would be one of them. They're like, he's a great shooter, but his defense isn't all the way there yet.
Sixers got one.
Yeah, Reed Shepherd is another one.
No, Reed Shepherd can defend. Isn't that the thing on
Reed
him?
Shepherd can defend a little bit.
Okay, but he's small-ish, so what's that going to be like on the next
level? That is
level?
an issue, yeah.
So it was one theme is you can defend, not shoot. The second theme is you can shoot, not defend. And the third theme is you are French. Because that was the big theme of the night. It's France's world, everybody. We're just living in it. They got the Olympics in Paris coming up in a month. You had 4 guys go in the first round who are from France, including picks 1 and 2. Now, even if you think these guys aren't like to the level of Wembanyama, who went and won last year, was also from France, they still did go 1, 2, 6, and 25. I mean,
Big deal. They're going to be 7th man on the Wizards in 3 years. I think it's
guys are choosing the Wizards now. This is this is opposite. It's upside down.
I might be way too harsh, but honestly, I feel like most of the top 10 picks are totally irrelevant. It's one of those drafts. I don't think we're going to know their names in 5 years. I'll go that far because there are a lot. I'm looking back at recent drafts. There are a lot of top 10 picks are like, who the heck is that guy? Definitely. It is a very speculative process right now.
Yeah, everyone is giving the Lakers major flowers this morning because of Dalton Knecht at 17.
Yeah, we've actually seen him hit a jump shot before. These other guys are off in New Zealand or G League Ignite. It's very speculative, and I do think the drafts are way different. Like, I think the hit percentage is probably, it's down probably 200% that it was from 1988 or something.
Well, because we had 4 years of game
right,
film.
like college football. Yeah, it's honestly, I don't think we're going to know who these guys are. I wouldn't even bother getting to know some of them.
This is my thought on this draft. Nobody tried to oversell you that this was going to be this awesome draft. So nobody said, hey, we got these guys from France who are coming over. They're going to be the next Wembanyama. You got the next Tony Parker here. Nobody's saying that. So I think it's actually been very appropriately sort of given to us as sports fans. We're really smart. We can figure this stuff out. Where, you know what? Now calling a guy a number 1 overall pick, well, might not be a transformative player, but could he be a rotation player? Could he be a starter for years to come? Maybe. And that just might have to be good enough for this particular draft. Not all of them are going to be 84 in 2003. It just doesn't work that way. And in all sports, not every draft is awesome. So take what you get from this draft. If you end up getting a rotational player, if you end up getting a good high upside guy who's starting for you, maybe that's just what we're going to have to be. We're going to have to settle for that in this draft.
Wow, man, we were really selling that product. Wow.
Well, I mean, but again,
maybe you'll get a rotational guy in the top 6. I mean, that's unbelievable. What are we doing here? What is wrong with the pipeline to the NBA?
Well, I don't know. Maybe this is just a down year. We do this in the NFL. Some years there's 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round, and some years there's 1. It's
no. I mean, NFL. I do think because of structure, the guys you have more tape on these guys, and they're older, so I think you can make a better guess on who's going to be good or not.
Yeah,
probably.
I'm just not expecting a lot, I guess. Now, the interesting thing though, as we keep going back to the Lakers with Dalton Knecht, is that. Listen, we know LeBron James doesn't love to play with rookies, especially if he is trying to win a title. Now, Dalton Knecht is not going to be your average rookie because he is 23 years old. Maybe that changes things. Maybe he does find his way a little bit more into this lineup.
Oh, I would hope so. They're a pretty thin team. I imagine he'll be a bench player.
Okay, so now this is another question, though, about the Lakers, because so far, the team that's made the biggest moves is the Knicks. The Knicks have made the biggest moves so far with trading for Mikal Bridges and signing OG Anunoby.
Right.
Besides that, Denny Avdia goes from Washington to Portland, but that's not really a huge headliner. May end up being later. Yeah. And you've got picks that have kind of gone back and forth.
And the Caruso trade, too.
And the Caruso trade. So, again, we're not – right, and that happened a couple days ago for Giddey. But we're not at the point where Paul George is making a decision, where LeBron James is demanding that DeJounte Murray be on the team, where Kevin Durant maybe is off of Phoenix. Like, we just this offseason hasn't developed yet.
Well, I'm sorry, I forget which executive said this. It's really, really hard to trade with the new financial structure.
Pelinka said it.
Pelinka said it. That's a real bummer as a fan, because that's the best part of the NBA offseason is seeing guys move. Now it seems like, and I don't really understand. I did not follow it closely why they set up these aprons and all these complicated rules about if you trade a guy, then you can't spend any money and you hit a hard cap. I don't know why they did all this, but it seems like they've gutted their offseason really quickly.
I think it's all about parity, right? I think they want to make this really punitive for teams like the Golden State Warriors and the Clippers, who just spend tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of money. They want to even things out a little bit more. I get it. I'm sure the other owners were probably complaining.
Really? Okay, so it's about parity.
Yeah.
I mean, you had all these super teams. You know, the Warriors were like the highest paying tax team. They were able to afford a Durant, Curry, and Thompson all on max contracts. Like, I think that was the response to that, I think.
Which is funny because now you've had, 5 straight different champions in the NBA, and we're asking if that's actually the best thing for the sport.
Right.
Would you rather have a juggernaut team that, like, everyone's trying to come for them as opposed to, who knows who's going to win it this year?
Well, the funny thing is you said the Clippers. I'm like, do they want to hold down the Clippers? I'm like, the Clippers are doing a fine job of that themselves. What have they done with that? Spending doesn't guarantee anything.
That's true. 855-212-4227. So, yeah, you had some other winners and losers last night. Dan Hurley, a big winner last night. Just coming off of the will he, won't he go to the Lakers, now all over the broadcast with Stephon Castle, with Donovan Clingan, guys from UConn who got drafted. You also, John Calipari, last year at Kentucky, sends 2 more guys to the lottery with Reed Sheppard and Dillingham, who was traded from the Spurs to the Minnesota Timberwolves. So college coaches looking good last night. Who are some other winners last night, in your opinion?
The T-Wolves, actually, it seems like they're the only real contender that impacted their team last night, as far as I can tell. Maybe you'd say the Lakers, but they traded number 8 for Rob Dillingham, who is, I don't know whether you like him or not as a player, but it seems like he's exactly what the T-Wolves needed. They have a million big guys. They have Anthony Edwards, but you saw it in the playoffs. If Anthony Edwards didn't score and Cat was on a downswing, which often happens, he's hot and cold, then who were they going to? Jaden McDaniels can't score at all. Walker Alexander can't score. So this, you couldn't imagine a better fit, right, for a playoff contender. This seems like the most obvious move that can impact the Western Conference playoffs last night. That might be the only one to me.
855-212-4227. One other thing I forgot to bring up as far as big names who may be changing teams. Did you guys see, was there a report last night about Jimmy Butler?
Apparently, Jimmy Butler is determined to try to stay in Miami.
There was also a report that he'll play one more year and then leave, right? That was out there.
Yeah, so the word was that he's determined to have a big year this year in Miami in hopes of cashing in on a max contract next season.
Okay.
But there's no plans for him. He doesn't want to leave was the word that was getting out. Now, does Miami want to get rid of him? That might be the different conversation that happens.
$60 million, right? Or something like that.
At his age, that's a lot of money.
I was thinking about this. The reason why I brought it up is I was thinking about this last night in the draft when Miami made their selection. His name is Kyle Ware. Khalil Ware from Indiana, right? And one of the knocks on him was that he has publicly stated he's not sure how much he loves basketball. And I'm like, yeah, Jimmy Butler's going to treat that guy great. Heat culture is really going to get tested here.
Yeah, Miami Heat culture. Pat Riley. I was a little surprised by that, too.
Well, it's like Jimmy Butler's going to hate that guy. He's going to be on that dude's ass all the time. You're not sure you like basketball? That's not what you want when you're about to go into the draft. And then you get drafted by the Heat of all the places to go. They're going to indoctrinate you down there.
But maybe that's what Khalil Ware needs, right? He was a huge prospect, went to Oregon, was a complete bust at Oregon. Then he was really good at Indiana last year under Mike Woodson. And he's grown a lot. He's shown that he maybe has some more heart, some more toughness than maybe we expected. But the Heat badly need a big off the bench. They've been playing old guys, Kevin Love. They've been wearing those tires, man, just to the nubs, basically. So, I got that pick, but yeah, you're wondering personality, Heat. Maybe this is what he needs. Maybe he needs to go to a place like this with a Jimmy Butler and a Bam and these guys that won't let up on you.
Wait, don't they need to rebuild? How many years? They're overdue a rebuild. They need to cut it, but go to the studs there. What are they doing? What's the point? They have zero chance of winning anything here.
I don't think that's what they're thinking. 855-212-4227. Okay, so you're welcome to weigh in on the draft, the moves you like, the moves that you didn't like, winners and losers from your favorite team, because we're on all across the country, but we want to hear from you and what you thought about what your team did. Yes.
Can I ask one more team that the other team, Minnesota obviously made a move, but Oklahoma City is a lot of people's title team next year. They picked a guy who is not even going to play next year. When are they going all in? What's going on with they should be the one team that everyone's talking about this offseason. They have cap space, they have draft picks, and they don't seem to be interested in taking that next step because that was my early title pick. They're third in odds, I believe. What was happening there last time? Maybe you could explain that, EJ. Why'd they take some kid who's not even going to be there for a long time?
Well, Nikola Topic was highly regarded coming into his draft. In his last games in Europe, he tore his ACL. So this is a guy that could have maybe been top 5, definitely top 10, that fell to the Thunder. Look, they got Shea, you got Case and Wallace. I think that they have a lot of cap room. I don't know, to defend them, they might not feel like a rookie is going to come in and change their life, right? Like they may say, hey, we can take a chance on a guy who can be Josh Giddey's replacement down the line who has a lot of talent, and we'll take free agency as our way to improve the team. That's how I looked at it.
Yeah,
They took best player available regardless of health.
It's just funny to me. There's all-in teams, and then there's teams who are like, we're going to build the right way over the years. It feels like in the NBA, like you might as well be an all-in team now.
To take this away from the X's and O's, so Jalen Williams, right, was there, who plays for OKC, right? His brother got drafted last night, Cody Williams, right, from Colorado. And they did this sort of choreographed dance. They called it a handshake. I think we're using that term a little loosely. That was not a handshake. That was like a dance. Their hands barely touched. How would you describe this? This felt more like a choreographed dance to me with the two brothers.
Well, Cody Williams, he actually talked about it in the post-draft interview. They asked him, I guess, during the press conference. I guess Pete has it here.
We practice it a lot. I'm not going to lie. 2 years ago, we messed it up. So, we were practicing for a few days, maybe even a week up until this point to make sure we nailed it. So, add a little flair to it. So, we made up for it.
This felt like something that needed and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. And then you do it. Not like a dap you up, hit you on the hands type thing.
Well, it started like that, and then there became movement. This felt like a kind of like you see in the NFL when like a guy scores a touchdown and his fellow receiver comes up and they do something like this. Kind of looked a little bit like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that a handshake. I felt like it was more of a dance.
I like calling it a handshake. I was cool with calling it a handshake, but it was elaborate.
It was a lot.
It was long. I kept waiting for the next. It was like watching a Marvel movie. It's like, oh, what's the next act going to be in this scene?
I felt like the next team was already like on the clock and had made their selection by the time their dance finished. Okay, you're welcome to weigh in again. 855-212-4227. Just wrapping up a little with the lime Jello tuna fish. Green olive thing that I ate last hour to pay off my bet. Maggie always pays her bets. Everything has been thrown away. Everything has been washed. I still smell it. It's like in my nose now. Do you still smell it too, Perloff? Because you took a bite.
I got allergies. I've never smelled anything.
Okay.
I actually didn't even smell it. Did it smell terrible?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing about it that I feel bad for you, Maggie, is because like it doesn't really smell that bad. But because you ate it,
yeah.
And I guess the mayonnaise and the tuna and the oil and the fat that was inside of the beast, now that's all in your nose. And I never experienced that. Like it smelled kind of like generic Jello to us. Like it didn't smell like anything. So the fact that you keep harping on the smell is like I don't connect, unfortunately.
I'm going through this on my own. I feel a little bit like the guy who hosted that show, Dirty Jobs. He once did an interview and they were like, what's the worst part? And he's like, the smell. Like the smell will stay in your nose and it connects to your brain and then it's hard to get rid of it.
Yes, Mike Rowe.
Mike Rowe. Yeah. I feel you, Mike Rowe.
There's the show Man vs. Food is very popular, and I'm wondering if we should do a Maggie versus food.
Nope. I'm retired. That's it. I'm out. If you want to watch all that went down, our social channels, that's the way to do it. Maggie and Pearl on X, Maggie and Perloff on Instagram, and youtube.com/Infinity Sportsnet, twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network. Okay, coming up, lots more to do, including we've got some NFL stuff for you that you're going to want to hear. One meeting, team meeting, went well. Does that mean a contract's coming soon? We'll get to that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
What's this now?
Perloff's got some of the
no. Sit down for a second. I mean,
that sounds
we were not
awful.
supposed to talk about this again, but now since you are doing this,
it's worse than I ever could have imagined.
Our pals over at WFAN. Perloff, you took the Tuna Jello over to them.
The amount of judgment they had for us was a lot. But so the funny thing is, Boomer Esiason is Norwegian and knows what lutefisk is, and it didn't seem like he recognized this substance in any form. I don't know what it was. It wasn't lutefisk. It wasn't lime jello. It wasn't tuna fish. It all combined in an incredibly toxic way, and every ingredient got worse. You know, most dishes, every ingredient gets better. This was the opposite. It's the worst lime jello, the worst tuna concoction, the worst use of olives in the history of the world. I'm so proud of us. This worked out amazingly.
I am feeling pretty sick now, which is bad because we have a meeting after this. I'm not really that keen.
It's a short meeting.
Can I crawl into that meeting? There's more from WFAN?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
the fact that he made that.
I mean, it was so. I mean, that looked worse. It didn't have an odor, and I was close to it, thank God, but that looked worse than I thought.
As terrible as it is, if you left the mayonnaise out, maybe a bite or two.
Just Jello and mayonnaise together makes me sick. I like mayonnaise, too, by the way.
Tuna fish and Jello, though.
I didn't say it's good, but you add the mayo, it makes it even worse.
Yeah, I'm ill. My stomach is sure. Look at it. Look at it jiggle. Look at that.
Oh, yeah. That's in Maggie's stomach right now.
Yep.
They didn't even get the bad part, and
All
they're
fact.
getting sick. I mean, if you're actually here for it,
Also, gonna disagree that there was no odor because I'm smelling something really bad, but it's like I have the taste. Yeah, it's in my stomach. I wish it wasn't. I wish it wasn't. I wish I had done anything different. And now it's me. And myself to blame. I mean, I'll blame the Nuggets because they lost the series, which is why I had to do this, but it's my fault. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, let's double down.
Thank you. That's exactly what I sounded like.
Maggie, you got to make bets that you want to lose. That's the key to this whole game.
I'm about to say that.
I've been doing this for years. Yeah,
That's why you're driving to San Antonio.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I get to spend a week away from my family watching football games. Oh no, not that. I get to
punishment.
get to eat chili. The one thing I did the hot wings. I didn't really want to do that. I was afraid of spices, but that was super fun. This was the worst. You had to eat a jar of jelly. That was gross, but that is child's play compared to what just happened today.
Yeah, the strawberry jelly, I ate a whole jar of it. I've eaten a whole pizza in 2 hours. That's just good food, just too much of it. This was awful food, only 7 bites. I got about 5 bites down. Ugh.
Was there a minimum that you had to have?
Well, I was supposed to eat 7 because it went 7 games, 7 bites. I had to spit out / puke out the first 2.
Oh.
Sorry. Sorry, everyone. Good morning.
I'm so glad the Nuggets went cold in Game 7. What a treat.
Blech. Anywho, so plenty of that will be up on our social. It was gross. Peter Schwartz is in today. I'm sure you are regretting your decision to say yes to doing this shift this morning.
No, I always like being around you guys.
All right.
You have to deal with a little adversity. That's okay. We can get through that.
I think technically I dealt with the adversity, but sure.
Get through my fumbling through French names, and then we're okay.
Very good.
This report is sponsored by Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, always putting clients' interests first. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Ballsack was the best. Honestly, there's a place I'd go there that I'm not going to bring up that would have been better than the Jello. Okay, go ahead.
Let us begin with the NBA draft, and the Hawks had the first overall pick. How did I pronounce that earlier today? Zachary Risache. Well, let's see if NBA Commissioner Adam Silver can do a better job.
With the first pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Zachary Risache from Lyon, France, and France's JL Boron-Bresse.
Adam Silver, nice job making the announcement on ESPN. And for Risache, it's a special moment.
All the work that I've been through, and all my family is here. I'm so happy to have them here, my friends, and this is amazing. I don't know what to say. So special.
That was Risache on ESPN after he was picked. His fellow Frenchman, a forward, Alex Sarr, was taken by the Raptors number 2, and at number 3, the Rockets took Reed Shepherd, a guard from Kentucky. Also last night, the T-Wolves acquiring number 8 pick Kentucky guard Rob Dillingham from the Spurs, and he's excited to be going to Minnesota.
Playing with Anthony Edwards and the whole Timberwolves, they was in the Western Conference Finals, so it's really just a blessing because I get to learn from a lot of players and veterans and players that's real good. So them helping me is just a plus for me.
Now, the Spurs get a 2031 unprotected first-round pick and a 2030 top 1 protected pick swap. The Knicks will reportedly re-sign free agent forward OG Anunoby to a 5-year, $212.5 million deal, and the Nets will reportedly re-sign free agent center Nick Claxton to a 4-year, $100 million deal. With all the fun and excitement and the disgusting things that have gone on, we've kind of forgotten about baseball. Well, at least I've tried to forget about baseball after the last couple of days, but we'll start in Chicago.
Here's the wind, the kick, the payoff pitch. Swung on and well hit to right field. This ball's back. It is gone. A home run. run for the second night in a row, a leadoff home run. And Shohei Ohtani has just set a Dodger franchise record with RBIs in 10 straight games.
That was Tim Neverett on Dodgers radio. Dodgers beat the White Sox 4-0.
Boo. I'll tell you why.
Why?
Yeah, why are you booing?
Because we're now in a two-man race, Shohei versus Bryce Harper for the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
I need the MV3 for Bryce. Now Shohei's a big problem.
Perloff will jump off any bandwagon at the drop of a hat, but now all of a sudden you need MP3 or MV3, whatever you said.
Can I ask you a question? The Shohei continues to hit like this. Are you willing to give up the pitching to have arguably the best hitter since Babe Ruth?
No.
Honestly, give up the pitching. The guy is amazing. He's Barry Bonds.
But I think they paid him for the pitching part of it too.
But if you get they paid a lot. It's all deferred. If you get the best hitter, maybe in the last 100 years, isn't it worth it? I mean, he's ridiculous.
No, I need
10 games, 10 RBIs in a row.
No, Perloff. This is what you need. The magic that you need for this to fully pay off is what we saw in the World Baseball Classic 2 years ago, right? Or a year ago.
Right.
Which is Shohei on the mound, closing out a game, striking out Mike Trout. Like, this is... It was his teammate at the time. This is what you need from Shohei once he gets healthy, closing out like Game 6 of the World Series and also having like a 3 RBI game.
So you're saying 5 straight MVPs wouldn't pay off the contract?
Well, it's $700 million.
He's not just any other hitter. I mean, this is like...
He's not any other pitcher.
I like your idea of him becoming a closer.
Or just, when you need him. But I don't know how that would work. I feel like he might get hurt doing that if he's not on like a regular schedule.
He's obviously a better hitter when he doesn't have to think about pitching too. So
Is he?
Yeah, I mean I stole that. That's a take that's out there a lot. He's insane now. He's pretty much unpitchable too. You have the best player in baseball. Isn't that enough for $700 million that you don't have to pay for another 30 years?
Yeah, but $700 million doesn't buy you the best hitter.
Yeah, I mean, but $700
million, $350 gets you the best hitter. $700 gets you something we've never seen before.
Well, it's deferred though. It's not really $700.
No, I'm paying him regardless.
Still paying him.
That $700. That value's
the
like
value will be less, but
it's around $350, like economists say. He's the best bargain in baseball for $700 million deferred. He is by far. Like all teams would pay that. I mean, he's the best player in the sport. No, you guys want to ruin it by having him get Tommy John?
I don't think the Dodgers would ever tell him not to pitch, and I don't think that would ever cross his mind. I think he's coming back to pitch.
Yeah.
In fact, he's not doing the home run derby because Dave Roberts says that would mess up his rehab for coming back to pitch.
He's already making sacrifices.
Yeah. That's about all that happened in baseball yesterday.
You don't want to bring up anything? Nothing happened with the Yankees?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
No?
Block that out. My family reminded me enough about it.
Okay.
Well, the Mets beat up the Yankees in 2 games?
Left the broom in front of the door when I went out to work this morning.
All I even like really stuck with me from last night's game, besides the epic rainstorm that happened, I got caught up in, where I lost power at my house and had to watch the draft in my car on my phone while my phone charged in the car. Have you guys ever had to do that? Anyway, there was someone in a Grimace costume, the McDonald's character, chugging a 22-ounce, as the crowd chanted their name during a rain delay.
I think that was the real Grimace.
Yeah. Man, honestly, Pete, I was like...
12 to 2 Mets. Okay, there, I gave the score.
If we had ripped off the costume and it was you underneath, I would have been like, yeah, that's
definitely. I buy into the Grimace thing. That's fun. What the hell? Might as well.
I could see you being all in on that.
Look,
I thought you said the Mets had no chance of ever getting
I still don't know how the hell they're doing this, to be honest with you.
Don't they have like a $60 billion payroll?
But they have a lot of holes, and they're able to figure this out. I have no idea. It's a pleasant surprise, but I am stunned at all of this, to be honest with you.
They're back to 500. It's not like they're,
Yeah, but look where they were 2 weeks ago. I mean, you don't make that... You don't make that up by mistake.
No, I know, but they're not 13 games in front. It's like this was just all to get back to 500.
I think it's all on their manager. I think he's just pulling out the right strings. He's putting the right people in the right places.
You want to name the manager. We want to talk about Grimace. We're not talking about the real thing.
Lindor's hitting?
No. The reason this all started. My engagement.
EJ wants a little credit.
I mean, the Mets are, I believe, 12-3. Since my engagement. That was I think the day of or prior to when Grimace threw out the first pitch. This should be the EJ engagement Mets.
There you
not
go.
The Grimace Mets.
All right. You want a little shine off of this? We'll give it to you.
It's not the $420 million payroll and the multiple all-stars, like all-time.
They couldn't hit. Now they can.
Yeah, I mean, eventually, like, those guys can't say bad forever anyway.
I'm just saying, I went to London, I watched them play terrible, and then they've been great ever since.
You know what I'm doing? I'm hedging right now in case the Mets chase the Phillies. I don't want to deal with that because I've been awfully cocky all year long.
You have.
And for good reason. And now it's like, and by the way, what happened to the unbeatable Yankees, too? That I've actually enjoyed that, too. Because I thought Yankees fans were getting a little full of themselves.
Hold on. We're not letting you off the hook yet by talking about the Yankees. Not only has Perloff been a little bit, boasting about the Phillies, you also are basically in a feud with half of the cast of Entourage because of your take on the Nets. Excuse me, on the Knicks.
Yeah. I feel great about that one. What did the Knicks ever won? I mean,
oh my gosh,
1973.
I know, but the Sixers haven't won since 1983.
No, the Knicks have won. They won 4 games in 6 against your Philadelphia Sixers. I think I remember that. That happened last month.
That did happen.
Yeah, okay. They did win that. Okay, cool.
You understand, like, the Knicks, when's the last time that they've been deep in the playoffs?
This year. What do you mean?
Deeper than the Sixers, though.
They lost to the Pacers, the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, all hurt.
You lost to the Knicks. How can you say what the Knicks done?
Our team stinks. Everyone
Since '83, how many times did the Sixers make it to the finals?
Once.
Exactly.
Okay, so the Knicks made it twice.
Oh, and that, I mean, come
that's
on.
degrees of
but here's the thing, like, we don't have a parade when we beat like an Atlanta team in the first round. Like,
you have to show up to your games in order to have a parade, and that's not happening either. So.
Meanwhile, we have a lot more to unpack on all this baseball, basketball, otherwise. Peter, thank you so much. Great job all morning long. We've got the Lakers. Maybe the steal of the draft, and then what's in store with Bronny James still out there for round 2 today. It's Maggie and Perloff. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Like a great day / awful day. I'll tell you why. It was awful because I had to eat the tuna Jello thing, and it was worse than any of us could ever imagine, right? Just really, really, really bad. Yeah, those are the guys on WFAN just looking at the monstrosity that I had to eat. But today was also a great day, and I'll tell you why. Not just because we made new friends and had some new listeners and new viewers today, but also because I learned a lot about my co-host, Andrew Perloff.
Oh, what's that?
You went right in there to take the bite.
I thought it looked fine.
Well, it looked awful.
The flavor surprised me.
You were in this with me the whole way. So I want to commend you for that, for trying to, join in with me on this thing. And it went terribly for you.
Well, it was a real surprise because visually it looked terrible, right? Everybody saw it. It looked awful. It tasted so much worse than it looked.
So much worse.
When you
How's
took that
possible?
first bite and spit it immediately, I didn't get it at first. I'm like, oh, I thought to myself, well, you had to know it was going to taste bad. Didn't you sort of prepare yourself for that? But there's no way to prepare yourself for that assault of flavor.
No, that was it. I had to get used to it. Like the texture and then the tuna fish and then the olive and eventually I choked some bites down.
You definitely did not mean to spit out that first bite, like especially the first bite. I think you meant to swallow it.
Yeah.
There's just no way your body would not let you do it.
It would not. It rejected it like a bad organ or something.
Yeah. How do you feel now?
Awful, quite frankly. Really bad.
You look a little, just a touch green.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way.
Yeah.
I've eaten like 17 Altoids, and I have not eaten any food.
There was one moment about a minute before you were sweating.
Yeah.
As if you had eaten something spicy or something. You had
that was the anticipation of.
Yeah,
and then the final bite. The final bite is up now on social, by the way.
I wasn't even really. I was a little worried. Your hand was shaking a lot. What was that about?
It was like my whole body was having a reaction to this thing.
Like you could barely hold the spoon.
Yeah, I know. It's really.
Did we go
bad.
too far? I'm starting to think we might have gone too far.
I felt that way about a lot of our challenges, especially the jelly. I thought my body was having like a toxic reaction to that because it was so much sugar. My body definitely reacted. I'm still smelling the tuna fish, which I hope is going to go away at some point.
Yeah, in a few weeks, maybe a month or two.
Any day now.
Yeah, so you're not going to be able to eat. There are a lot of things that are off the list. Anything with mayonnaise, out.
Yeah.
Jello, out.
It's funny because my stomach is feeling really weird and queasy, but I don't know exactly what to do about it.
Can I give you a what if? You're on a desert island. That food is the only thing to eat for survival.
I'm dying. I'm just going to die.
No doubt. Didn't even have to hesitate.
No, I tried to chew on sand.
Make your peace with the world and say goodbye.
I just drink a lot of salt water. I wouldn't eat it. You couldn't eat it either. You tasted it. If you were on a desert island, would you eat that?
No. I mean, I would. I don't know. Because a desert island, it would melt and get even grosser.
Oh my God!
Can you imagine that hot? Hot Tuna? Isn't that a band? Hot Tuna? That's where they got it from. It was actually a sports talk radio back on Hot Tuna.
We should try that next. Hot.
No.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
been
Make it
thrown
like a
away.
panini.
Yusef took it away.
We could make a really nasty soup.
I can't right
in
now.
the hot in July, have to eat like some kind of soup.
Blend it.
Bogusch is here. He was doing play-by-play for all of this. And I mean, true professional that you are, Bogusch, you actually were able to continue doing that as Perloff and I are both like simultaneously puking in the garbage can.
Do you believe in miracles?
Yeah, I mean, again,
This is not AI, Bogusch. This is the real thing.
I was enjoying Perloff. It was not fun watching you struggle, Maggie, but my concern for you moving forward is the Jello thing did not age well on the counter, on the table. It slowly just started to decompose. Melt's not a good enough. So like I just have that's happening inside you right now, and I don't know how good that is.
No, I'm feeling every bit of that. It's like on a molecular level, it's all breaking down like in my stomach. But again, I don't know what to do about it. Like a ginger ale, maybe?
I would suggest a carbonated drink.
I would suggest purge.
No.
But I don't have any food in my stomach.
No. Yeah, no, I think you need to
Except for that.
drink some soda or something. That would be my guess.
Yeah, I'm
Get you a
thinking-
Fresca from the machine outside.
Thank you. I don't want anything flavored though. Like I don't want
Yeah,
any
you
other
do.
flavors.
I think you do. I think you need to like bombard your taste buds.
I don't know what we're gonna do about
This meeting we have in
no,
15 minutes.
you're literally green, Maggie. You're
I know, I feel
definitely
green.
like a little green.
Maybe an EMT?
I don't want to freak out Ryan Hurley, our new boss. I told him I would hold it together.
By the way, people should go to the Maggie and Perloff X account and watch the last video. I think that's the best video of the whole thing.
Is that the last bite?
It's the last bite into Maggie basically
losing
it into you trying to being so proud that you took a bite and then throwing it up.
I was gonna say to her when she was
It's a lot of
spitting out,
emotions.
I was gonna say to Maggie, I was gonna say, give me the damn spoon. And it was gonna be like an iconic rally line, like give me the damn, like, you know, like a famous sports quote, and then eat it for you.
Yeah.
But something in my instinct said, nope, I'm not gonna do that.
That tuna Jello thing was just humbling everyone very quickly.
Yeah.
Me,
I mean,
you.
EJ was talking a big game this week.
I mean, I never said I was going to eat it. I just thought it would not be as bad as it was.
I thought you said you would take a bite.
No.
No.
I don't.
No,
I don't
only
do
you
well.
said that.
Yeah, you said that. I always was very careful with my words.
Yeah,
but I the only recklessness was I thought that it would be not that bad.
Yeah.
I thought that Maggie would like it.
Oh.
And
Well, I knew that would happen.
I
She
couldn't be
really
wrong.
hates like Jello-y things.
Yeah, no.
Like
And,
flan.
by the way, you're like walking around with the Jello as it's like jiggling. At one point, it broke, and all of us like, oh, like horrified, like someone just got decapitated. Like that was like on screen. On,
You
like, a
know
horror
what's funny?
movie.
When one time it broke, it actually formed words. It said, help me. Like, I think it's like an organic creature.
The final picture, for some reason, the way the format shaped up, it looked like a question mark. And I'm like, was the Riddler here?
Yeah. Well, the answer is me throwing up.
There was the divine spirit inside that Jello. I think something was happening. It was sending a message from another realm.
Bogus said it looked
The
like
question mark
hell.
was the
like
question mark was
staring into
asking,
hell.
why the hell are you eating me? What are you doing?
Help me.
What actually looked like, now that I've seen it, the picture of my phone, it looks like the side section of like a clogged artery, and they show you like, this is why you shouldn't eat bacon cheeseburgers.
God.
Like this is the plaque in the in the vein to your heart.
It's like what they used to say
I
when
just
you
ate that.
It's like we say when you swallowed gum. They'd be like,
Yeah, it's
gum
gonna stay in your
it doesn't
stomach.
digest for
Right.
2 years. This is what it looks like.
But I say this very delicately. I'm intrigued now by what the actual thing tastes like. Are people really fighting their way through something terrible in Minnesota because they have to eat? Like, what does actual correctly prepared lutefisk look, smell, and taste like?
Yeah, we had Bill call in from Texas who said like his in-laws are all from Norway and they like to eat it, and like there's
You soak it in lye, which is, I think,
I thought-
I thought that's what you did with a dead body.
yeah, CRL. Wasn't that the first episode of Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
He's had a lot of
Dexter.
hot sauce and some beer.
I would assume lye would also be like really toxic.
Yeah, I don't think that's the right word. That gets the skin off of bones.
When in Goodfellas, when they're getting rid of a body, what do they put on the body? Is it lye?
I think so.
Yeah.
Lutefisk is lye. I just looked it up.
Formaldehyde?
Yeah, that's not good to eat.
Yeah, never mind. I don't want to know what it tastes like.
Lutefisk is a dried whitefish, usually cod, but sometimes lingen, cured in lye, L-Y-E.
And we're obviously not doing this right. And we never said this was lutefisk. I know that was making people mad in the chat. We never said it was. It was like lutefisk adjacent.
That's what made people mad?
Show some respect.
Come on.
Yeah, it was not like the horrific scene, the horror movie that they watched.
You ate tuna fish, Jello, and olives. I mean, with mayo.
Mayo.
The mayo's the worst. Boomer Sison was right. Mayo's the worst. It's going to put me off mayo for a long time. And I was raised on mayo. So
Raised on mayo?
Yeah. A lot of egg salad in my life.
What do we eat for dinner? I don't know, but throw some mayo on it.
Yeah.
You know,
the mayo is the issue. Because I'm even looking at the pictures of the real thing you tried to make, and the color is totally different. It's like a Jets. It's like a New York Jets green. There's herbs in it. Like, it looks a little...
It tasted like how the Jets play.
That was last season for you.
This was not what Maggie ate today. Like, that picture, even the picture we've been posting that looked terrible, it didn't look like what we made.
You know, I do want to say thank you, because I know that in the chat specifically, like, I was getting a lot of, like, way to goes and a lot of high fives virtually and a lot of, like, hey, you're cool for doing this. I'm not. I appreciate people saying that. This was not a high point for me. This was a little dignity just slips out under the door.
This picture is not going next to the Emmy.
No, I think the Gracie Awards are going to call and be like, you know what, you're setting women back, actually. So
might get a Razzie.
Might get a Razzie. Deserve one. But this is not acting, unfortunately.
I think you needed to get right back on the horse here. Don't have that exact same thing, but have a dirty martini with the olives.
Oh, don't say it.
Have some tuna salad on a sandwich, something like that. You got to push right through all this stuff.
Oh, you're so wrong. You're so wrong.
Olive loaf, olive loaf sandwich.
No, I need to eat like I'm going to start with some ginger ale.
Soup and crackers.
Ginger ale's a good
not
start.
soup. No, not soup. I don't want anything anywhere close to any of the texture.
What about red Jello?
No. I need like a loaf of bread or something.
Definitely need bread. That's the first thing. Whenever my dog eats something bad, first thing we do.
Thank you.
This is the comparison.
First thing we do is give her a piece of bread.
Yeah, and then like a pill wrapped in peanut butter, so I don't know I'm eating it. Thank you.
A chicken bone yesterday. The first
get
thing
you a cone if you need to.
So I would scratch the stitches out. Thank you. Add insult there. A lot of people do name their dog Maggie, and I do get that a lot. Oh, your name's Maggie? My dog's name is Maggie. I'm like, thank you.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Lots of dogs named Maggie.
I know one.
Sorry, I'm totally distracted here. You put lime on a dead body, not lye. You put lutefisk in lye.
That's a big M.
Lime is like a mineral that's used in gardening.
For cleaning.
Yes. Not like lime, like the lemon lime. It's like a mineral.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we should get some lutefisk. I'm serious. No, I think
No.
Like
and
real,
also,
like
I
well
hate
free.
you.
You're free.
No. Like well prepared to sort of clear the taste of what that was and have what lutefisk looks like a really good food. Like Norwegian people brag about
it doesn't.
Yes,
it does not look like a really good
A
food.
fish in a jar. Like gross.
I don't think you have to have it in a jar. You can make it fresh too, sort of fresh.
Fresh. The whole point of it is like it sticks. I don't know, sticks around.
I like pickled. You guys don't like pickled herring?
No.
What?
No, absolutely not.
I like beef Wellington or hamburger.
Well seasoned.
Or grilled chicken.
Like a BLT or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Not this stuff.
Yeah, this is...
By the way, I'm starting to get an idea if Pete Bellotti loses a bet here. Sounds like raw foods is going to get you.
No chance.
Don't go down this road. Pete says yes to nothing.
I'm already thinking of the next bet. I think I can make something worse.
Nope.
Well, we already know what the next bet is. It's EJ running gassers.
That's right.
But does he have to eat something before the gassers?
But I got the next stakes to scare Maggie Gray that would haunt you. You know what it is. Chicken sashimi.
Oh, No.
Yes.
No.
It's a popular. Yes, raw chicken.
That will not get cleared.
Wouldn't be allowed here.
Why? What's it there?
Nope,
it's a
it won't
popular
get
dish in
cleared.
Japanese restaurants.
Doesn't matter.
No, won't clear.
You can't do that.
Like a popular dish in Japanese restaurants is like
It's a thing.
California roll.
You eat raw steak all the time. Steak tartare. It's very popular. It costs a lot of money.
You eat steak tartare all the time.
Every day, Bogus. You're
When
eating
you're at
steak
the
tartare.
Ivy or whatever the.
But let's go through the whole thing. Who is preparing it?
We'll get a real chef.
You would have to. That's the only way you could do it.
Yeah.
No,
And
like,
even then,
you'll eat raw fish. Why would you not eat raw chicken?
Well, salmonella is the number one.
Yeah,
start
like
there,
a
but
tablespoon of that would take out the population.
Wait, you don't think a raw fish has disease? You have to do it right. You have to right after the chicken. You have to kill the chicken out of the newsroom and bring it in.
We got your sister for that.
I'm telling you, chicken sashimi. I'll do it.
Quickly, Barry's in New Jersey. Barry, how you been, sir?
Good morning. I'm better than you, I think. But I just wanted to tell you guys that in addition to your vast knowledge of sports and your terrific sports repartee, you're so entertaining, and I have to say I just thoroughly enjoy it. And I felt compelled to call in and mention that to you because awakening at 6 o'clock every morning and hearing you guys is just a happy day to start the day. So I hope you feel better, Maggie, really.
Well, thank you, Barry. Check back in tomorrow.
Thanks,
because,
Dad.
Thank you. I appreciate that. My pain can be your entertainment anytime. Thank you, EJ Stewart. Thank you to Pete Bellotti. Thank you to Peter Schwartz and to Andrew Kaplan. Andrew Bogish came in doing play-by-play and to watch this particular brand. To Amanda, who came in early today to help us out. To the Weedos and the coffee drinkers, Perloff, to you. Cheers.
You're in a 5-minute break.